Hello, and welcome to the show that happens typically on Wednesday night, but we've moved to the new and improved Weird Thursday night. It's
Thursday.
What? Thursday?
Did you see this one? Oh, hello. It's Weird Thursdays over here. Welcome to Hey, Did You See This One? It is Thursday night, which you may be going, hey, that's fucked up and weird and weird. Well, I'll tell you why. What happened. I got a job, like a new one, and this new job is a job where I have to get up real early now. So I decided for all three of us that we would move the podcast to Thursday night, because on Fridays I work from home. We will try to keep the schedule as is. I'm going to move around social media. I'm going to try to get back on that track. I have neglected our social media a little bit in lieu of, the shake-up in my life.
Just like my dad.
Nope. But that's okay. We are here, and you all better figure it out, because it's the weird month, Jason's weird birthday month. That's me. I'm Jason, and I'm making two of my best pals.
Yeah, if everybody knows, Jason and Kaylin pick weird shit to do on their month.
Woohoo! Woohoo! Woohoo!
Two of my best pals, making them watch.
Instead of, picking something that would be intellectually, stimulating to talk about.
Steve, when you say that, did you forget what the premise of the show is in the first place?
I thought it was about, hey, you already saw this and we can talk about it, right? Isn't that what we...
Well, it's kind of like, if you're at a party and you say, you're having I've been explaining this to people all week, because I'm actually promoting our podcast to people now.
This is actually the first movie that we've gone through where when somebody actually says, hey, did you see this one? I responded, I have seen that.
Yeah.
But I can't really remember it. So I want to go back and watch it. And I was kind of excited to watch this one. And you know what?
That's great.
I have a lot to say. So
Last week we did the Complete Al. Last week, I mean on Saturday. Last week's episode was about the Complete Al. It's a sort of mockumentary, sort of just a tape with music videos on it that we all kind of panned. But I got my Weird Al trivia knowledge out. This week, we're talking about UHF. We got it all on UHF. So, as always, I'm going to host since it's my birthday month. As always, we're talking about our history with the movie. And since I know that Steve's going to have his history, he's going to have a long history. I'm going to go with Kaylin.
Yeah, it's going to be like this.
Let's
go. Yeah.
We need some bongos and some kazoos and some streamers and some crackers or whatever they're called, those rip open things.
Polka?
I need music.
The rip open polka. You know what I'm talking about.
Some silly string.
You know what I mean over here.
I've never had one, but it's like a Christmas thing where it's like a popper.
Yeah, Christmas poppers. What do you mean?
You've never had a Christmas cracker before?
Christmas cracker.
I didn't even know there was Christmas pickles.
Well, Christmas.
What?
Do you mean like tiny pickles, or do you mean pickles in like mustard pickles?
I mean, like someone hides some sort of pickle ornament and you have to find it.
No, that's more specific.
Your parents made that up and told you.
No, I've heard of it. It might be an East Coast thing also. I have heard of that. But also hide the pickle sounds like a sex thing.
Yeah, it does. But also I think maybe did they hide them near like a dock?
I think it was like amongst the other tree ornaments.
Yeah, they were hoping that you would fall into the water.
Uh-oh. They were hoping that you'd fall into the tree and Christmas would be ruined again, Kaylin.
You ruined Christmas this time, punk. All right, Kaylin, tell us about it.
Tell us all about it.
Yes, allow me to indulge you with my first time viewing this movie. I think I actually did see it a few years ago. So I watched it. What I'm going to call my first time was the few weeks ago that we took a week or two off is when I watched this and the other ones that we're doing. And that kind of felt like the first time. But as I was watching it, when it got to the Stanley's Funhouse or whatever, I was like, this part seems familiar for some reason. Like, this part stands out.
You get to drink from the fire hose
and blast the kid. So I want to say like 2 weeks ago, but I might have seen it a little bit like a few years ago. But roughly 2 weeks ago during our hiatus.
Hiatus.
By myself, no other exceptional memories.
I want to just bring up the fact that, again, and I feel slighted by this a little bit, and I did it to myself, but typically we get 4 weeks, and I only get 3 weeks for my birthday, so next week when we do the Weird Al story...
But you did get to party in Halifax.
That's true. We did get to party at Freeman's until 3 o'clock in the morning, so that was kind of like...
So you're not taking any of my month, you bitch.
No, I never. No, that's not what I was gonna say. What I was gonna ask you guys is maybe I get a random pick.
Yeah, a random pick in the middle of the year. You blast it like a fucking an atomic bomb. Yes, that's
sweet.
Totally fair. That's so good and fair that you're just like, I'm bringing Jason's pick. Yeah. Now. Dun, 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 and it's the Final Fantasy VII movie. You're like, oh god.
Listen, last week I didn't give you any Home Alone of it. Well, because there was none. I didn't give you any Jason's Theory Corner because it was pretty.
There wasn't one, yeah.
But this week, I don't really.
We got all the boxes checked.
I don't really have a theory corner because this movie's pretty straightforward. But
I got a theory corner.
I have a couple Home Alone of it alls. And for any new listeners, the Home Alone of it all is when the part where like I almost call him Calvin, when Kevin like does up the house for all the traps, and that is when the movie gets good. And then I also later determined in a theory corner that it might just be the third act of the movie. Anyway, Steve, why don't you tell us all about your history with the movie UHF, starring Weird Al Yankovic and Victoria Jackson and Fran Drescher and Michael Richards.
Oh, I didn't realize all those people were in this because I was watching it as a movie and not judging it based on the content of the character actors that were in it. But that's pretty good. That's funny. Liked this movie a lot, and I remember liking it the first time I saw it. And the first time I saw it, I worked at EB Games, a video game store, where they, tell you can't ever work here because there's too many nerds in line. And then somehow I was like, I'm a nerd and I'm in line and I'm getting to the front of the line. And I got to the front of the line and I worked there. And I worked with this guy next to me for years, and he loved Weird Al. Like he like everything about him was just like a Weird Al sort of, like he would wear Weird Al t-shirts to work and
Hawaiian shirts.
Yeah, he would wear Hawaiian shirts. Yeah, he like dressed like Weird Al. He loved Weird Al. And one day I was like, "Do you love Weird Al?" And he said, "Yes." And I said, "Wow, that's pretty cool. I like Weird Al." And he's like, "Do you like him enough to know what UHF is?" And I was like, "I have no idea what that even is. Like, what is that?" And he said, "It's a movie that he made." And this guy, like, the next day came in with a VHS copy of UHF and gave it to me. And he said, "I want you to watch this and I want you to come back to work tomorrow and we can talk about it." And I went home and I watched it and I came back and I talked about it, and it was good. It was good, man. It was good. It was good when I watched it then. And you know what? It was good when I watched it yesterday. And it was, it's a good movie. I watched it with my friend Brian, and Brian and I both were like,
Brian, friend of the show.
Famously does not laugh at stuff. But he was like,
What part got him? What part got him?
All of it, man. We got him. We got him.
The jokes in this movie land in the complete opposite way that they do not land in the complete Al.
Yeah.
Is kind of what I noticed.
Well,
they're all goofy.
I'll tell you why.
I'll tell
you why.
But they're all very
like.
like.
It's
they're
because
all very like.
they got
Mel Brooksy.
actors to do the jokes.
True.
Like that's why it's funny. Remember what I was saying last week when I was like, it's not funny because they're not actors and they don't know how to be funny, and like that's basically what the issue was.
It's written.
That whole
it was
thing.
written by Weird Al and his bassist, who are clearly best buds.
And this movie proves that Weird Al is funny. He just needs to have funny people to present his funny stuff.
Yeah.
And like he can also be very funny, but like I'll say that like when he's doing his Rocky at the end where he's like
Rambo?
Sorry, Rambo, yeah. He's like doing the Rambo face and it's like, you know, it's not quite hitting until it does hit and then it hits and then it just keeps hitting and you're like, okay. Yeah, you did it. You figured it out.
That whole sequence is amazing. We'll talk about that at length.
So I'll say the first time I saw it, I was probably about 20, 21. The second time I saw it was yesterday, and both times good. Kaylin, go ahead.
Thank you so much. I just wanted to add on because I don't think I brought it up last week, but I think I have a little bit of I've been subconsciously affected or inspired or whatever by Weird Al because I've done a few things that are in that lane. The 420 infomercial that you said I should join Twitch for, or Twitter, or TikTok.
Yep.
And then also in high school, I made we had a project in chemistry class, and I did like a sing-along music video thing where I kind of took a song and then turn it into my words. So apparently I love Weird Al too.
Yeah, your TikTok was doing well until you smoked weed on it, which is like the no weed and no nipples, like no obvious nipples. I
mean, I was waiting for you to show your nipples the whole time, and when you finally did,
they were smoking weed.
I reported you for it.
They had little joints coming out of them. That's fucking gross. It's 420 today, guys. Did you know that on this day is the weed day for weed smoking?
Can we smoke weed for this episode?
No. Especially you, because you get real weird when you smoke weed on the street.
Yeah, you just shut down and you're like, I can't even put my hand up anymore.
I'd rather you be like 6 or 7 out of 10 drunk versus like 3 out of 10 stoned. So.
I don't know. I think that I disagree. I think I'd rather be really high than really drunk.
Okay. Well, I'd rather us all be pretty clear, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, as my mom used to say.
Yeah, even better.
I have been up since 7 a.m., so if I fall over my words a little bit, that's why. And not because
you just said the word of the day! Word!
What is this, Pee-wee's Playhouse?
I don't know, man. I'm trying to add some zaniness.
Be zany and weird, you weirdo.
There were like several times during this movie that I thought to myself, and I know this is going to sound really offensive, Kaylin, but like, when I was watching the character of Michael Richards' character, I was like, this is kind of how I feel about Kaylin, like in terms of like me interacting with you and you. What,
the evil CEO?
Wait, hold on. No, you on a stage versus me interacting with you in real life. Where like I don't dislike interacting with you on a like a daily basis, but I do think that you are well suited for a stage. I think you are a stage man.
Yeah, you definitely have characters and characteristics of characters.
That's meant to be a compliment. I'm sorry if it sounds like
I take it as a compliment, and I appreciate it, and I'm blushing.
Like I'm not saying that you're in love with a mop or whatever. I'm just saying that like
could be.
I could be. And
behind this beard, I'm blushing.
When he, I can kind of see that too. When they're in the helicopter.
Doesn't it kind of feel that way? Like me and Jason are like working forever to be like, we can't get this station under control. And then all of a sudden, Jason or Kaylin's just like, okay, Kaylin's under control. We're like, what the fuck? Kaylin
And suddenly
just
it's
figured
not,
it out.
yeah, suddenly it's not all downtrodden. I feel like if it was just me and Steve doing the show, it'd be a little too stuffy. And if you go back and listen to our old episodes of just me and Kaylin, there was a lot more breaks in the conversation. So I think that the three of us have we sort of did create a UHF on our Twitch channel and you know, grew up, you know.
Yeah, Joe Rogan right now is like, what do you mean they're talking about?
Yeah,
top one. They're the number one
in this town, which I was fucking. That's weird. Anyway, it's a weird '80s movie. So my history, much like you, Steve, it has nothing. Well, unlike you, Steve, I just wanted to bring this up. You mentioned that like you could never work at EB because there's too many nerds and those are your people, and you worked to the front. Well, I had a crush on the girl that worked at EB, and I managed to date her, and that was very similarly like you can't be a nerd and date the nerdy girls. She liked Weird Al. I just thought I'd bring that up because it reminded me of that, because I did aspire to work at EB or GameStop or whatever, and I went to the guy and I was like, I'd sell all the games, and I started talking about video games. He's like, you can't really know about video games to work here, and if you do, you gotta keep that shit under your hat. That's how
you have to be able to tell everybody that all video games are good, even the ones you don't like.
Even the ones that are fucking sucky. So anyway,
behind the scenes, folks, that's what it's like working for big corporate businesses.
I'll tell you, in the wrestling biz,
they used to make me wear a dress shirt and like dress pants to work at EB Games. Like, what the fuck?
In the wrestling biz, they don't really want you to be like a wrestling fan. They want you to be a wrestler. You know what I mean? You can't be like a mark, as they call you. And it's similar with the video game sales world. Unless you own your own nerdy store, like your own nerdy video game shop, and it's yours. Like you know, the owners of ANC video games can be like that, but the people they hire probably can't be like that. Anyway, my history with this movie is essentially on one fateful night in the winter of, I believe, 1991 or 1992.
What?
That's
so
right.
Early.
Yeah, I had heard about this movie because I was a mega fan of Weird Al when I was a kid, pretty much since like 6 years old.
So Jason's just like a 5-year-old being like,
no,
wow.
I was more okay. No, it would have been more like 1993. Anyway, I was at my friend Jason's house.
All right, hold on. Wow.
Yeah, not quite. Wow, but like wow.
The voice break was good.
I was at my friend Jason's house.
Yeah.
His name was also Jason. And I remember...
What? How did you tell each other apart?
I don't know. We looked the same and everything. It was me all along. Jason's Theory Corner this week. I was at my own house.
They're like killing each other in the basement. Yeah. The parents come down. They're like, which Jason is our Jason? It's Jason and Jason.
Well, I remember it so vividly because it was on the like Saturday night movie on ASN at the time, which became Global, I believe.
This feels like a real old, like, going on the dark, not the dark net, but like the dark sort of like
the before times.
The before times.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I had heard about UHF. I had heard about it. I'd never seen a copy of it. And UHF was on, and me and my friend were like playing action figures, playing with our fucking probably Jurassic Park action figures at the time. He was rich, so he had like the big train.
So he had the whole
T-Rex that ate the thing. Did he have the T-Rex that ate the thing and then it comes out of the belly?
No.
Yeah, he had like a speaker in the background, and you press play and go dun 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 dun. Yeah,
there's a playset that makes dinosaur roars. The dinosaur Stegosaurus had like battle damage, like a piece that came off.
A chunk.
Yeah,
that would
I
come
remember
out.
that.
Yeah, I remember those too. Yeah.
The T-Rex had like its skin was kind of like, I don't know how to, like kind of thin plastic. You could feel its skeleton underneath. It was cool. Yeah. Those Kenner toys were dope. Anyway,
Kenner.
Yeah, I digress. We were playing, and then it came on. And I think he had an older brother, so he's like, "Oh shit, this is the Weird Al movie," and I was like, "I beg your fucking pardon, the what Al what?" And he was like, "Yeah, that's right. You know that tape, that cassette tape we've been blasting all day and giggling our shit off to? The movie is on now." And I remember jumping up and down in his spare room on his bed, and his mom
And
telling
being
him
like, he made a movie?
yeah, and his mom being like, you got to stop jumping on the bed, you little guy.
Hey, we have neighbors, okay?
Well, it was in a
Jason's
giant
just
house
like
in the
reciting
boonies.
all of the Forrest Gump song or whatever, like Big Bunny Frog in the park in the park.
Well, that song hadn't come out. It'd be more like the songs that were in last week's movie were the songs that were out at the time. And Alapalooza had just come out, I believe, which is the one with
Listen,
Jurassic Park is frightening
around.
in the dark. Can't make jokes like that. All the dinosaurs are running
Can't joke about
wild.
fucking Weird Al like that. Jokes.
All right.
Who let
So,
the T-Rex out in
Guys,
the rain?
I
or
think
whatever.
that it's time for us to talk about this
I think it's time.
actual movie.
Actually,
I've got a little
we
bit
get a
more,
movie
though.
title shout out at 12 minutes and 36 seconds. We're a little past 12 minutes, but it was pretty quick.
Are you telling me that that's a movie shout out?
Movie shout out.
Movie shout out.
All right,
I could
good.
clip that and use it. So I just want to add on to that. That was the first time I saw it, but then I bought it on VHS when I was probably 12. And
You still have it?
No.
Oh, you can't get rid of something like that.
I left it in a basement in my 20s when I would just move and leave a whole bunch of
I'm
shit.
picturing Jason as a little cutie, like a little cutie 12-year-old, just being like,
I gotta buy this. I gotta buy this one.
It was probably $35.
and you're like, I have $35.
That's all my money.
in my pockets.
Yeah.
Right
5 cents,
Yeah.
10 cents.
But I remember I remember when it came out on DVD, I'd kind of grown out of it. Like you never really grow out of Weird Al if you're a fan, but like I wasn't like I got to get this Shout Factory version, and then I was.
You
like,
also never feel like you don't groan at it when it comes out again. Like if you see it coming out, you're not like, ugh. Like
No.
there's so many things that I'm like, ugh. And
we
like,
don't, no, we don't need that. anymore.
anytime Weird Al has a thing that comes out, I never go, ugh. I'm like, oh, good. Like I actually feel good that I'm like, Weird Al has a thing that just came out on like the steel case Al collection is like floating. I'm like, whoa.
Well, he
that's
released
crazy.
that collection
Criterion.
right before the Weird Al movie got announced. He released his like full box set with a whole bunch of unreleased music that came in like an accordion case.
Ooh, that sounds awesome.
Well, if I was like a collector of physical media, I would definitely get that. But it was
Look
like
out.
I
probably
wonder,
like
like,
$300.
I wonder how long it was before the weird movie that is very good that we're going to talk about next week. But like how long it took for them to get that movie made, because it's
Weird was
it's stellar, man. It's so good. It's so good.
Well, I'll
All
tell
of it
you
is
now,
good.
and I'll tell you next week as well. That Funny or Die thing came out. The parody.
I know that.
But
that
he talks
came out.
about
We
it-
talked about it last week.
I know,
though,
but
too.
he talks about in interviews that he basically started working on it several months after. So basically, like 10 years. Conan O'Brien was like, he forgot
we
he
should
was
get
in
this. Yeah, but he also helped make it.
it. Yeah, but he plays Andy Warhol in it, and he has an interview where he's like, I forgot I did that, and then the movie.
But I
came out.
also think that he like gave them money. Like he was
Probably.
like, yes, like here's like a
Probably.
bunch of money to do this. I think that what I'm asking is not necessarily like how long did it take, but like how much did it take? Like how much did it take asking people
get
for
it all
help?
together.
Like
Yeah.
like the people that you wouldn't think would be into it or would be if you could get them.
Well, it's a good thing that Roku came along and wanted to be, in the streamosphere and as a free service.
Yeah,
they
and
take
they're like,
content.
wait a minute, you made $1 billion in the 90s? We could maybe figure this out.
But how did you guys watch UHF? I watched it on Roku.
I rented it.
You rented it? Okay.
I almost bought it.
But why is the
I was
wrong
about to
one
buy
to
it, and this is the only regret I have about UHF is that I didn't buy it. I was almost gonna buy it, and I was like, I'll rent it for it was like $2 rental, and I can't find it within me to buy it for $20, but renting it for $2, I was like, this is
if you're ever
fucking
at a
good.
flea market and you see it for $5, That's a steal.
Yeah, Kalen, you're right. I will buy it if I see it on a honey pot of a fucking what
Or a lawn sale, a yard sale, or whatever they're called.
A lawn sale, as they call it.
Yeah. They just like put their DVDs on the lawn, like a million DVDs
Hey man,
on the lawn.
I used to just put it like in Halifax, in the city proper. I used to put down a fucking sheet on the ground and just put my toys out and sell them, so I could buy.
Yeah,
toys.
but they're not movies.
I would put movies out. I probably sold UHF, in fact.
Shame on
I'd
you.
project movies down.
Sailed the
Okay.
high seas is what it sounded like. You didn't
Sorry,
want me to-
I didn't
for this
mean to
one, I
interrupt
did.
you, Jason, or you, Kalen, but I think that we've all done a very good job here.
We have, and that brings us to the fucking bulk of the episode. That brings us to what we all came here to do, and that's wax.
It brings us to the Home Alone of the episode, if you will.
You think the Home Alone of the episode?
The Home Alone of this episode starts real early.
I think it starts as soon as the uncle wins that poker game.
But I also think that
Ooh.
it starts again
I meant the
later,
episode,
and then
not
it
the
starts
movie.
again later,
Home
and
Alone
then
of
it
this
starts again
episode.
later. There's like 3 Home Alones.
That's right, I agree. But Kayla makes a good point. When we gotta start calling, when we get to the body of the episode, the Home Alone of our show.
Yeah. I have a little tidbit to add. Some more potentially subconscious Weird Al inspo or whatever.
Yeah.
When they get
Winspo.
thrown out of the burger
You
joint.
call it nudity. Yeah.
Nudity? No nipples. When they get thrown out of the burger joint and the little kind of camera trickery that they do. It reminded me of when this was like years ago. Me and a guy from junior high school, we were doing some backyard wrestling and we were filming it, pretending to make like a wrestling show kind of thing. And there was a part of the fight where we're in the backyard and then it breaks out to the street, and then he I think he runs after me or he pushes me into a wall, and then I start to run up the wall, and then the camera cuts to him watching me or pretending me like look up and over while I'm like running behind the camera, and then I jump in frame on the other side, and like it was like I did like a flip over like with camera magic.
You did like a Steven Spielberg camera trickery, or like and then he's over here.
Yeah, exactly. It reminded me of that. It was like, damn it, I have like Weird Al in my DNA somehow, and I don't even know it.
I think we all do in a lot of ways. I think we all are Weird Al.
Yeah. That's the one thing that makes me feel shameful.
I am Weird
Got some
Al.
dope curls.
Is that
Super
where
dope.
I'm Weird Al as well. Kalen, say it. You have to.
Say it. I am Weird Al.
I'm Weird
You are
Al.
as well.
We're all weird.
That's my parody of Negan from The Walking Dead that I made you guys be a part of there. That said, we open up with an Indiana Jones parody.
Imbiamba.
All of
He's
them
here.
in that order.
Yeah.
Instead of going after the whatever the shit in I don't even know Indiana Jones that well, but I do know this.
It was like a
opening
little
scene.
tiki thing.
Was it a
something.
tiki thing in the movie?
Or maybe it
No,
monkey.
it's an
Might have been
Oscar.
monkey.
No,
It's
in
an Oscar,
this-
you dummy.
In
It's
this-
an
This was the elusive Oscar that
Yeah.
Weird Al has been chasing his whole life.
What is it in the?
I
Temple
don't
of
think he
Doom?
has. I think that this is him like making fun of that concept, right? Like he's like nobody needs an Oscar.
No, it's because it's
And
a movie.
I was definitely being facetious.
I'm making
with
my
that last
first movie, so I'm going
It's-
to go
yeah.
for the Oscar.
It's
in
because
my first
this was a movie in theaters,
funny.
but it was 1989, so I think it was up against Batman and Ghostbusters 2, like same weekend.
So it got crushed.
It got wrecked. It may as well have been an indie film, but this had a pretty good budget, as I recall, and it was just. It could have been a bigger movie if it wasn't released the same summer as Batman.
There are some things though that you're like, it's when he's walking by all the signs and everything, it's funny, and you're like, ha ha ha, this is great. But when he goes up and does the sand thing, Like, why the fuck? Like, this is my brain is like, shouldn't it be like Skittles or something coming out of that bag?
Ooh.
Like,
No, but that's
I
the
like
part. That's the part where that's the serious, like. That's
I know,
the
but
parody.
it's too serious. It's too serious.
But that's like the not parody. That's to be like, this is the movie that you're in.
I know, but the
right now.
parody is him just like yoink,
I
and
see
he
what
like
you're saying. It's like he's
takes
making
it,
an
yoink,
attempt.
and it's like that's not funny. Him grabbing it is not funny, but him like if he had poured out
like
Skittles in his
Skittles
hands
is
or
a
something,
good idea.
you know,
I
like
like
that
that.
would have been funny. That would have been
Yeah.
funnier. It would have
Yeah.
been more in line with the like the Naked Gun and stuff, and like where you have like you're making all these jokes, but then you stop for some reason, and like why did you stop? Why did you stop there?
I'll tell you exactly why. Because when
right.
Weird Al does a song, a one-to-one parody, right? That sounds exactly like the song. So there's a lot of elements in his parody that is true to the original movie, like in
The source material.
Yeah, like Rambo is really like that too, where it's over the top, but a lot of it is pretty one-to-one to the movie.
Well, the Rambo stuff is funny though, like because it's like
I like when he's like, you know, he rubs his face with the 5 o'clock shadow. I thought that was funny because Weird Al doesn't have, but he's still got the little mustache.
But you can get away with every moment. You can get away with every moment of that with him just like just doing the face and stuff. Like it's funny, but
listen, like as a small aside, this movie cost $5 million to make and made 6.1 mil. So
sorry. So they didn't have enough money for Skittles.
Yeah, they didn't have enough money for Skittles.
Yeah.
And they barely could pay for the advertising. It probably broke under even.
I got
Smarties,
to double
maybe?
its money.
M&Ms.
Smarties
was
are
there a
Canada
continuity
only,
error? Was it a continuity error or was it a joke?
When he was running in front of a whole bunch of different countries, I think that was a joke.
No. When there's a guy with a gun and then he whips his arm and he's holding, when we see the guy holding it, it's his left arm, but when the arm drops to the ground, it's a right arm.
Oh.
Yeah.
There you go. It's Kalen's continuity corner. KKK. Nope.
Oh no! And I have a white hood on. No.
And it's funny because all of those words are C words.
I mean, we told you not to make them white. You were like, oh, we should make white hoodies, and I was like, I think that you shouldn't make a white hoodie ever.
Look, when we're all wearing them in our 3 different colors, it'll be striking, I think. But for now, you can get
I wish I had one. Jeez.
Well, all you had to do is come get them.
Oh, I had to go to your house to get them?
Well, do I have to go to your house to bring them to you?
I'm sorry, I've been trying to not kill myself all week.
I'm sorry, Dr.
That's not true. That's not true.
That's dark as fuck. Okay.
Mental health is important. Stay healthy, folks.
That's true.
Have a drink.
Don't. That's the wrong message.
No.
If you have any sort of mental issue, please call a hotline or go to a doctor. Yeah. Don't drink.
And also, if you have a firearm in your house, you should not put it in your mouth ever.
You shouldn't play hide the pistol. That's fucked.
If you want me to draw you a picture, I'm not going to guarantee the quality.
Galen, if you draw a picture and it's better than anything I could draw, it would make me kill myself immediately.
Stop.
Oh my God. I should not have.
You're going to break terms of service.
All right. I'm sorry.
Yo, Leo, put us back on the airwaves, Jason.
Well, the next thing is he rips the guy's arm off, and the guy just like, it's like, oh, I'm sorry.
Well, he whips it.
Or he whips it. Sorry.
Yeah.
And then the guy who tells him to turn back gets hit. He runs outside. He's like, turn back, and he runs outside. And he gets hit by a train. That was a funny bit.
That was dumb. I don't like that. So that's where I'm like Skittles. Like that's where the Skittles come in.
To me, it's very Mel Brooks and it's very Airplane like.
But so is Skittles. Mel Brooks is very Skittles. Airplane is very Skittles. The guy running out and getting hit by a train, and then him just doing the exact thing that happens in Indiana Jones. I'm like, wait a minute, hold on.
The guy doesn't
You're just
get
gonna
hit by
do
a
the
train
exact
in the
thing that
movie,
happens
though.
in the movie? You gotta just change it up somehow. Like the Skittles would have been funny, man. I'm telling you, Skittles.
The guy
Skittles
doesn't-
instead of sand is definitely, I think, a good.
Yeah,
upgrade.
but the guy doesn't get hit by a train in Indiana
No.
Jones.
No.
I thought that was funny. Why would there be a train there?
Exactly.
I know, and that's why I'm saying that Skittles
Doesn't
would
make
be
any
funnier
sense.
than
I love it.
nothing, yeah.
Yeah, so he makes it to the Oscar. Does the guy with the Skittles? When the ball starts rolling and he turns his head 180. When I was a kid, I fucking loved that. I thought that was
Yeah, that was good.
I didn't get it.
It's
You
not.
didn't
There's
get it?
nothing to get. He just like it's just stupid. It's just weird.
No, it's riffing on The Exorcist.
That as
is what
well.
it is.
This movie has an R rating, and I'm
What?
watching it. Yep, and I'm watching it.
It's
going
because of
how-
stuff like that.
It's 'cause of
there's
stuff like
some
that.
Jesus person's like, that's demonic.
Yeah, and
It's
but also
demonic.
Emo Phillips cutting his thumb off and blood spraying everywhere.
And you can see that coming a mile away.
Call
Like,
me
oh, that's
Mr.
about to happen.
Butterfingers.
Oh,
To that
I
point,
didn't
though, I
know
do
that
like
I
his
was
little
going to-
Once again,
Double
I'd like
entendre joke.
I'd like to
his
bring
little-
this book up.
oh.
He
What
does.
is it?
He does the foreword for this this graphic novel. Moving
Nice.
fingers that are over emo. It's backwards, so I'm having a hard time. There we go. Do you see it there?
Emo
Yeah.
Phillips is an interesting
He's a weird man
that-
comedian who's been around since the 80s. I've seen him open for Weird Al. He does his little bits.
I think they're good friends. I think
They are
is-
pals
yeah.
from this era.
When he says, I did like, it gave me a good laugh. He's like, boy, is my face red.
Boy, is
Yeah,
my
It's like,
face
it's like
And
red.
he's like,
entendre
his
or whatever,
blood
right? Like
all over his
embarrassment,
face.
but blood. Yeah.
And then when Al George like makes a face at him, he goes,
I think that one of the best things about this movie is that like Weird Al is weird. We all know that. He's a weirdo.
He
But-
seemed pretty straight laced in this one, though.
Yeah, that's maybe the best part about it is that everyone around him is like so much weirder than he is, and he's just like, "Well, I have to give these people a chance." Like that's like the whole deal in the movie is like him giving weirdos a chance, and like that's. I know that's probably something that should be said at the end of this podcast, but like that's so nice. Like
Yeah.
it's so nice. It is.
We get the balls rolling, and like I mentioned earlier, he runs across several different countries in the background, like the Eiffel Tower, the Taj Mahal, and then finally, there's also a part where he like turns a corner, and it also turns a corner, which is kind of a
We got
subtle,
City Street.
yeah, kind of a subtle little joke. Then he fully gets flattened, and we get a flattened Weird Al, and that causes him to be knocked out of his daydream.
And we're like, why is he steaming so hard?
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, he's got a burger on the grill.
He's got a burger.
I love burgers.
And I
Go for a burger right now.
I was reminded by this moment of literally being in that same situation where I'm standing over a grill as a cook in a go nowhere job, flipping burgers, flipping steaks, making salads and shit, making pizza, and just fantasizing about just weird shit like that.
I felt the same way in like a go somewhere job where you like think that you're on cue to get somewhere, and you're like, what the fuck am I doing? And you're like just thinking about stuff that has nothing to do with what you're actually doing in the moment, you know.
Mm-hmm. It's having
It's-
those fantasy moments.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about making burgers while making burgers and having more burgers.
in your brain, the sound inside your brain is just.
No, you're thinking about like sweeping the floor and being like, I'm so glad that I'm using my mop that I got.
Ooh.
I've had mops before, but this is my favorite mop.
But this is my favorite mop. At the end, when he's in the helicopter with Weird Al Rambo, and he's shooting off the missiles, he's like, "Duh!" It's so good.
Oh,
I've
actually,
laughed at that. What?
he does the This came out before Seinfeld, right?
Right before, like moments.
Our first
before.
introduction to him is him busting through a door.
Yeah.
Which, if I'm not mistaken, is our first introduction to Kramer on Seinfeld.
Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
our last
and
introduction
outro
to Michael
him
Richards
is him being a super racist
just
asshole.
saying the N-word a whole bunch, which wasn't a good look.
Yeah.
Which wasn't a great look for old Mike Richards.
Nope.
You know, he got super canceled for that, and we never heard from him again. So.
Yeah, but he also kind of got pulled back in with the Larry David show.
Yeah, but it's Jerry Seinfeld's kind of like has a soft spot for him, obviously. But
he's
Jerry
like,
Seinfeld's
he's just he's just a guy. He's just a guy.
Exactly.
We're
I
like,
bet Jerry
is he the
Seinfeld
guy?
is one of those
Jerry.
comics who behind the scenes, because he doesn't really tell this kind of comedy, but behind the scenes he's probably like, man, everybody's getting canceled all over the place for no reason. I bet he's one of those people. And then also Jerry Seinfeld should have gotten canceled 100 times over for literally grooming a fucking teenager and then marrying her. So everybody in Hollywood is terrible, folks. Every one of them.
Yeah, I went to
not us though.
No, and I'm not in Hollywood, but Ryan
I
Reynolds
went to
seems
a comedy
pretty on the
show
level.
last week, and they were like, "Who's your favorite comedian?" And I was like, and they were like, "You don't have one?" And I was like, "I don't have one." And they're like, "Why not?" And I was like, "Well, they're all like perverts or transphobes. So like, who am I supposed to like? What the fuck am I supposed to say here?"
I don't even know, man. Pretty much
I don't even like doing crowd work.
I mean, the crowd laughed at me saying that. So
Yeah,
like,
every popular
I think
comic-
I was funnier than the guy on stage.
Every popular comic nowadays is trying to, especially white dude comics, are trying to push the envelope, and the only envelope they have to push now, because everything's been covered, it's been like, what's the deal with woke people? Am I right? Everybody's so woke these days. In fact, that brings us to Jason's woke corner. You know, everybody's so woke these days. Why is everybody so woke all the time?
Everything that Jason is saying is wrong.
Why?
Because that's not true.
White dude comedians are not primarily like, was everybody so woke?
Have you been to a comedy show lately?
I said popular comics. I said
popular. Okay,
No, dude. When we were in Halifax, I went to 2 different comedy shows, and literally one of the comics was a trans woman. So,
so that means I'm not transphobic.
No, that's not even what I was saying. That's not even what I was saying. I am in fact. No, okay. I'm not even gonna make that joke.
Listen, if you're gonna keep saying it, I'm gonna keep going at you.
I know.
I will.
I know you are.
I like hamburgers.
Just Kaylin likes hamburgers.
Kaylin, shut up! No, I'm just kidding.
No, I mean,
I should have got a mop for this episode.
I mean, the people in the Joe Rogan-osphere.
Yeah, the people who are like, I listen to Joe Rogan because every once in a while he has like a smart person on. And you're like, oh, okay, well, who? And they're like,
Malcolm, what's his face? Malcolm McDowell.
No, Kaylin, that's the joke, is the thing that you're not supposed to answer the question.
That's true, but Kaylin is right. That one Malcolm Gladwell is like one not piece of shit that he has on. But then for every Malcolm Gladwell, there's 10
like 10 or 20.
There's 10 fucking Jordan Petersons. Oh, actually, I think that the male of today is sort of being eroded by the feminazis of the world. And then also on the other end of the spectrum, the fucking Alex Jones is.
That was good, Jason. That was very good. Oh, the feminazis are coming for us. Very good.
I've been working on by Jordan Peterson because I think it's a really emasculate him with his high Canadian weird voice is fucking just aces.
You know, the patriarchy doesn't understand.
They called me the king of the insults, and that made me cry. My heart goes out to the man who gets stomped by a woman. And when a man gets his balls stomped on by a stiletto heel, you know, that's his balls under the stiletto heel of the dominatrix.
Jason's got it. He figured it out. He got it. Jason.
I did it.
Figured it out. He did the.
Do I hear a hint of George Lucas in there?
A little bit.
Yeah,
it's like Kermit the Frog.
Lucas, yeah.
It's Kermit the Frog and George Lucas talking about how he's an incel. Basically, is my Jordan Peterson. Anyway,
the patriarchy is not. It's not coming together, but you know we can figure it apart.
Oh shit!
Uh-oh.
Kid's getting a cell phone call.
Yeah, I'm getting.
Hey,
it.
Hollywood.
Hey, how are you?
What
What are you wearing to your fucking phone?
He gets flying. So there's a funny mustard gag, which I thought is a great mustard gag, where he's talking and he just squirts mustard over a whole family, and it's a comic amount of mustard.
One time, I spilt mustard on my pants during lunch at school, and I went back to school, and then it's like, hey, what'd you do, pee your pants? I'm like, no, I spilled mustard on it. He's like, oh, mustard pants. And he called me mustard pants for the rest of the fucking, actually, maybe multiple years. It drove me fucking insane.
How did that change your life for the worse, Kalen? Did that change the fabric of your being?
What it did was it slowly eroded my innocence of, oh, everyone's like good and we all want good for each other. Nope, we're gonna make fun of each other and make each other feel like shit.
Yeah, I know.
That's why the first time I met Kalen, he grabbed me by my dick and twisted it. And he said, "Twister!" And I was like, "What the fuck?"
You said, "I didn't know your shoulders were so broad."
Yeah, well, they are. Okay,
You're a broadman.
I have broad shoulders.
For me, it was when I was like, "Mom, is there Santa?" And she started crying. I said, "No."
Oh,
She started crying and said no.
She said she didn't want me to lose my innocence, so she got real sad and started crying. She was
Oh
like,
my
"No."
god,
Because I
that's
asked her
so
very
sweet though. That's
earnestly.
such a sweet thing. Like
And then I
you
was
should
like-
be
then
a
I was
you should
like,
be a character in The Nightmare Before Christmas.
But then I was like, "But the Easter Bunny
Jack
don't." She's like,
Skellington comes down your chute
My
or
chute.
whatever.
please, Jack, don't come down my chute. No,
Shoot.com.
but then I remember being like, "But the Easter Bunny, he's real," and she was like, "Oh yeah."
He's good. We got a couple months left until he's gone. Yeah, but
Credits.
he's good, right?
Haven't found the chocolate yet.
Also, shortly after that, I asked her if our family believed in God, and she was like, "Yeah, I guess." So
If you believe in God, we believe in God.
Exactly. And I was like,
That's
"I believe in
how
God."
that was the same thing that I had with my mom. I was like, "Do you believe in God?" And she was like, "Well, I mean, do you?" And I was like, "No." And she was like, "Me neither." Whoopsies.
Hey, well, you finally joined the club.
Yeah.
And we never went to church again after that. Like, she made me go to church a lot when I was a
thank
kid.
God.
No, not good. It was so bad.
Steve, you gotta pray the gay away, is what I think your mom was trying to tell you to do. She saw you with your little bow tie and your cowlick.
Why does he have to pray the gay way? Why can't
And
he
your
pray
little
the way he wants?
and your suspenders and your like shorts. You're like, you gotta.
I'm wearing
figure
short
that
shorts
out,
right
kid.
now.
Probably.
Jason's just designing a child he wants to fuck.
Hey, come on. That's too far.
Well, I mean, you're making me feel awkward. So.
Okay, sorry. That's fair then. That's fair. I found the line. We found each other's line, and we're gonna stand.
We're getting crazy. We're getting fucking crazy.
That's funny.
That's good.
Kaylin, good diffusion.
This is a
That
good.
was good.
This is a good episode. They
So
get
far.
so far. The next moment is one that Kayla mentioned earlier, where the note I wrote is they get jazzy jeffed by Big Edna.
Yeah.
So right before this, we find out that George Newman and Bob have been in several different jobs, because George Newman can't help but just like disassociate constantly and think about parodies of.
Yeah, it's called autism.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody else has it here, but it's real.
Well, in the 80s, autism didn't exist. They thought they do.
True. In the 80s, it didn't exist, but in the 90s, it didn't exist. In the 2000s, it didn't exist. But now,
But now it's
It still doesn't
seen as-
exist.
you
yeah,
should
now
try
it's still
harder.
kind of existing. We're just telling people about it.
Yeah, you should try harder, you lazy. Just kidding.
What are you,
Nope.
stupid?
What are you,
no,
dumb?
I just don't.
I'm
The
just on
words
the
are
spectrum.
backwards. Anyway, they get yeeted. He's like, "What's that tub of lard gonna do?" And admittedly, I felt kind of bad for this probably
He did say a
background
mean,
actor,
rude thing. Yeah, to
and
her.
that got me to thinking: when you have to play, it must suck to be like cast as an ugly person.
Whatever. She probably still gets paid to this
That's
day.
true.
Like,
Probably
I've
is a
thought
road.
about
couple
that
cents
before.
in the mail.
Must suck to the mental health.
Yeah, like I get that, like like Melissa McCarthy early on was always like played like a bigger lady who was a psycho. Or Zach Galifianakis also always like played like a lunatic because he was kind of a funny looking dude, and that must make you crazy. Jonah Hill constantly casts as the fat friend.
Yo, I'll take it.
Yeah, I'll take it too. But we're none of
well,
us
you
are
just
big
Kaylin,
fat
you
guys.
gotta gain like 50 pounds. Jason,
Careful.
10?
Careful.
No, just
I have issues.
Okay, I'm sorry. I love you.
I know, but that was good. I saw what you did there, and you're right. I'm overweight.
No.
That said, they get
God, I
yeeted
love
by
you.
they get yeeted by Big Edna, and it was a very
A
Judge
big
Jeff?
yeet. It was a big yeet. Yeah.
it was a very Spaceballs Mel Brooks, but also
It
like,
was
Naked
what
Gun,
it made
like,
it feel like was like. So we watched that moment where they were
Real
in
cartoon is what it felt like.
But
yeah.
we were in the cartoon that is the Indiana Jones moment, right? And then
Right.
we get pulled into reality, and then
Right.
we're immediately thrown out of reality again when she literally
Ooh,
throws them.
I like.
And you're like,
well
oh, so
put,
like
well
it's
put.
not just
So
the
it's that-
daydreams that are gonna make us escape from the reality. We're gonna be here for all of it, right?
But also to that note, you could be argued. Welcome to Jason's Theory Corner. It can be argued that this is George Newman's recount of these events. Also, you know how they sometimes it's like when you're playing a video game or watching a movie.
Yeah,
it's
no,
wacky
I mean,
because it's
yeah.
like this is a kid, like Ellie's adventure in the game.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
think about
There's a
every
popular
time
theory
that
that it's
anything
Ellie's recounting of her experience, and the show is so short because it's Joel's recount of the events.
yeah.
Nice.
Every time that like anything happens to you, you put it on a pedestal
Embellish.
of intensity, right? Like
Mhm.
you see it as something scary and much more intense than it actually was.
Especially remembering, like when you remember back to certain things, you are also it's distorted by like what I would have done, what I
Yeah.
could have done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's so many moments in my mind where I'm like, and fuck you, and
Yeah.
fuck you, but I like never did that.
No,
But,
you're
like,
really
in my
just
mind.
cowered.
I
Yeah.
remember.
You
Yeah.
immediately left the situation.
Yeah.
I do believe that you did almost meet your fate on that New Year's, though. I do fully believe that happened the way that you presented it to me.
Oh, the stabbing.
The near stabbing,
Yeah, no,
yeah.
that was real. That was not me.
I'm not saying that I ever thought it
making it
wasn't
up,
real,
yeah.
but the way you tell that story, I think that it was so real that there was no real room. You probably were like, I bust you in your head. You're like, I could have busted out kung fu and got the knife away from him, but really, it's like
No, I just punched him as hard as I could in the face and ran away.
and ran away.
That's what it was. That's the story. And you know what? He was down for a while, and then I was like hiding behind a garbage can, like.
Yeah,
he
I've thought
was,
about that.
and he was getting up, and I was like, "Oh God, he's getting up."
I think the best thing is to keep running. I to find a hiding spot. I mean, unless they're.
But I
really
had a
bad
car
at
coming,
hiding
Galen.
and
I had a
seek,
car
They're
coming.
gonna find you.
I had a car coming for me, so I knew that if I ran too far away, then he could catch me away from where the car was going to get me. So
Okay,
I was
that's
trying
good.
to hide near where the car was going to get me, and
Yeah.
I saw him run across, and I was like, "Hey, he ran that way." Okay, and then I ran out into the street, and then I got into the car, and like we took off.
And then he came back and he picked the car up
And
he
laughed
Yeah.
and
He
laughed.
picked the car up and he was like, "Ah, ah, ooh, ah, ah, ah." And I was like, oh my God, he's got the whole car.
That was
Hit
the
the
day.
brakes.
That was the day that Steve fought literally the Hulk, literally the Bruce Banner Hulk. Anyway,
It's like the crack Hulk.
yeah, the Krulk. So we go back to Terry's apartment. That's George's girlfriend, played by Victoria Jackson, most notably from Saturday Night Live. I believe the last time she was brought up in the news, she was an anti-vaxxer, unfortunately, but she was funny on SNL. Steve, if you want to look that up, that would be greatly appreciated, because I don't want to
Is she an
slander the good
anti-vaxxer?
name.
Yeah.
I don't want to slander the good name of Victoria Jackson if she's not. I feel like she said some shit at some point recently. That was like, ugh.
Yo, some guy at karaoke last night was a huge anti-vaxxer and told me a lot of shit.
You went to Barely's last night, but didn't go literally 2 weeks ago or last week when I was there.
Yeah, and Kalen's now bigger.
I was gonna go.
Fucking anti-vaxxer.
If you told me you were going, I definitely would have gone. I was thinking about going, and then I think I smoked weed or something. I was like,
I was gonna go.
I was gonna go. No. What it was I worked at the office. I worked at the office yesterday, and the office is right by.
Yeah, she is an anti-vaxxer.
She is an anti-vaxxer. Fuck.
But she also did so many good cartoon voices.
She was a cartoon.
Did she do Dot? No, she didn't do Dot
for many years after SNL.
And all right, Kalen, stop thinking about it. You're not an anti-vaxxer. You should get vaccinated.
No, we're not doing that.
I'm not an anti-vaxxer.
We're not doing this.
I'm not anti or pro. You do what you want.
All right, so the rest of this movie is pretty good after that. I like the scientist guy. He's pretty cool.
Hey, I'll get us back on track here, Chad said.
Right.
So I did notice.
Have you guys ever had your cheeks pinched?
I will fist fight you.
I have, yeah. I have had my cheek.
It sucks. It hurts.
Both.
But that's later in the movie.
No, it's coming up.
It's right there. I think Kalen's right.
No, we're still at.
It's not where
Terry's
you're at yet.
apartment.
After the scene. It's the next scene.
let me Sherpa us through because I want to talk about a couple things
Sherpa.
here.
Do your thing.
All right.
So
hostess with the mostest.
The UHF song is playing in the background as he goes into Terry's apartment, and I really like the moment where she's like, "I made us dinner," and she's like, "Oh, mashed potatoes! I love mashed potatoes," and he starts lobbing them on, and she's trying to be like very serious and earnest about their life, and he cuts back to him, and he's got this like mountain, and he goes, "This means something. This
Close Encounters spoof.
This is important." Yes.
Yeah.
Which is great. And
this is a movie we should do, by the way. I don't know if you guys love
what Close Encounters.
Oh, I fucking love that movie so much. I would love to do it.
Can we also do Cocoon?
Put it on your birthday month.
No,
that's not an isolation movie, man. That's like the opposite of isolation. They're like, we know what to do.
I'd like to do a thing where we do like Close Encounters, Fire in the Sky, a bunch of real freak
Color
movies.
Purple?
Nope, that's not a movie about getting abducted by aliens.
Oh my god, my dad is calling me. All right, hold on.
Yo, okay. Put him live.
I have to.
Be live?
All right, I'll ask him if he wants to, but hold on.
I don't want that.
I'll be back in 2 seconds while we take this short intermission.
We're not taking any intermission. I was just talking about something. Just go to your thing, and I'll get us through to the next part.
No, what were we talking about? I'll stay for what you were talking about.
Well, the next scene is literally they get together to go to the party at the uncle and aunt's house. That's when we get the stretchy face. She grabs his cheeks and stretches them super far, which is very,
Looked good. It looked good.
Comedy. Do you have to go to the washroom, Kalen?
No, I'll wait.
Just go.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay, he's talking. Tell the audience jokes. Tell them past stuff. Tell them future stuff. Yo, Ostradamus them or something.
It's Nostradamus.
Yeah, like ostriches and stuff. Okay, well, that just happened. I've never had to do a musical interlude before because both of my co-hosts just left. We gotta get Steve. Come back to the show, please. Come on. No, He'll be back. He's coming. 1 minute.
Okay, I can see that. Thank you. I guess he does have the headphones on, so he does kind of hear us probably.
How was your day today, Jason?
It was good. It was fine. I like my new job. It's a good job.
Hey, why don't you show the viewers your hoodie there? That looks like a pretty cool hoodie.
Oh, do you like my hoodie? A co-host made it for me.
Oh, what does that say?
It says,
hey,
hey.
did you see this one?
No, it just says, hey, as you can see.
It says, did you see this one?
I know. See if I can get it to say. There we go. I just got to give it a little bit of.
Apparently, you got to give it some shade.
Yeah, because it's very white, and I've got a light directly over my head here. How was your day?
Steven wants us to live long and prosper. Yo, West Side.
Well, you can't just.
Yo,
you can't just. West Side.
Galaxy.
Live long and prosper.
What?
Listen, I'm just gonna tell the next part.
Tell it.
I'm gonna just tell the next part.
Steven doesn't even fucking care.
No, he's just off talking, having a conversation.
Looks like he's having a good time.
Yo, I mean.
Hey, should we fake ad-lib or whatever it's called? Fake subtitle?
Yeah. I'm a pee boy, and I like to pee my pants all the time. Look, I have my hand in
that
there.
was perfect!
I'm peeing all the time. Look how much pee.
Yes, I'm wearing my
It's
hat.
coming out of my mouth right now when I'm peeing. Oh, so once upon a time I drove down a road, and at the end of the road I peed. There's so much pee that I couldn't even handle how much pee was coming out of my mouth and my butt. Oh man, I really think that Kalen is the best champion. Oh man, I love Kalen. Look at him and his beautiful face and his butt. I love his butt. I love Kalen's butt so much. Look at his. Oh, he's such a good. I'm looking at pictures of Kalen's butt right in front of me right now. Oh, I don't know. Maybe I should stop looking at Kalen's butt so much. Oh, it's a lot to think about. Well, I'm going to end this call now and go back to the podcast I'm trying to record and give Jason less work because he's going to have to like edit this out someday probably. Or not, who knows. Might just be part of the weirdness of the UHF.
That's part of... Yeah, exactly.
The UHF episode.
I think it's a beautiful part.
I poop too much and then I get tired.
You know why? 2 scoops is probably because of that Raisin Bran.
Poop.
Sorry, guys. Sorry. I'm so sorry.
Oh, don't worry.
You stuff your stories in a sack.
You should go ahead and watch
a whole
this.
lot of fun.
No, I heard all of it. I was listening to everything you said. Like it was in my ear the whole time. Like I wasn't not listening to it. So.
Okay. Well,
Hey, Dad. Yeah, I gotta go. There's these guys talking about me.
That's literally what I just said to my dad. I gotta get out of here because they're like making fun of me in my ear right now.
Luckily for you, all I could come up with is I'm peeing out of my mouth and my butt, so it wasn't.
What, you couldn't talk about Weird Al's movie without me for 2 seconds?
No, I refuse.
We didn't want to not have you included.
We do this all together or not at all from now on.
Exactly.
I was almost going to put him into the microphone, and he was like, no, I don't want to be in there. And I was like, I don't want you to be in there either, Dad. Go to sleep.
At any rate, we find out that Weird Al's uncle wins a radio TV station in a gambling match.
When was the last time you guys played Texas Hold'em?
I don't. I might have actually. You know what? I played Texas Hold'em in Red Dead Redemption 2. I think it was the last time.
Oh, Arthur.
Yeah. Now I reckon we should play some 5-card pickup. And I'll get tuberculosis.
Hey, you tell me that you understand what you're talking about, man.
Now I reckon you.
I reckon you don't understand what you're even saying.
Your impression sounds more like the other guy, his rival, his like friend and then rival. You played Red Dead, right?
Yeah, I did, but I didn't know that my rival was what I sounded like. So even talking about.
You know who I mean? The like leader of the Ding Dong Boys.
Dutch?
Yeah, Dutch. It's
You think I sound like Dutch?
yeah. You're right. Your impression there sounded like.
I don't think that I sound like Dutch. I think you sound like a fucking bitch.
Whoa. Now I reckon, boy. Now I reckon,
I think
boy.
that you think that I think that I sound like the guy that you think I sound like.
Perfect. I can't
Kalen,
believe you got that
you're
out in
right.
one go.
Yeah.
That was excellent. That was fucking amazing. Oh my god! Like, there's so many clippable moments from this episode so far. I might actually take the time and fuck around and find out.
And get hillbilly down to my home stink sack.
Stink sack.
Edit.
Okay, so then they go to the TV station.
He wins the right. He wins, the uncle wins it. The aunt's like, ooh, it'd be nice owning a TV station. That'd make me feel all important.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, George needs some work.
Right. Is this the part where my notes don't 100% make sense here? Is this where they go to the radio station and meet the homeless guy for the first time, or is it?
Yeah. They
Yeah.
go to check out. So the
Oh
uncle
no!
guy's like, hey,
Right. Sorry. No.
work at this place, manage it or whatever.
Yeah. They go to U62 and they go in. It's like nighttime. And they meet Philo and they meet the homeless guy.
Yeah.
Gee, thanks,
Yo, actually,
sister.
fun little misdirect.
I got a
Payne.
whole bunch of stuff I gotta talk about for a second here.
Turns out he just wanted to do laundry. He had $1.
That's
but
one of those
the
like
state doesn't
dangerous
take
moments
bills.
where I'm like, is that a real homeless person? Is he actually
Yeah.
homeless?
I think
No.
that might have been some sort of like character actor who was
I think that
famous
that
in
guy,
the 60s or
yeah,
something.
he definitely is a famous homeless actor. Like, he has only ever played a homeless person.
You know the commercial later in the movie for the NRA guy who's like, if you don't have guns, you can take my guns away. All the hippies and commies.
Guns
I'm taking
don't
from my
kill
cold
people.
dead hand.
But he's that like, I don't know if I call him an actor or whatever, but he like can close his like face really like weirdly, like he can do like this one.
I've seen
But
that.
it's like goes
There's
really
a
small.
competition for that.
Yeah,
Hi, Madison.
they say hello. Well, Kalen does.
I said it too. Hello.
Steve said it too. Hello.
Only afterwards.
Hello. What? Kellen's talking smack. I don't know. Now, Kat, she thinks you're talking smack now.
Not about her. I was talking smack about Steve.
That's true. Yeah, everyone's always talking smack about Steve.
Yeah.
Madison,
it's not
can't
true
wait
at
to
all.
have you on an episode. Let us know what you want to do. You want to do Showgirls?
Oh my god.
Okay. Probably not. We find out also that Fran Drescher is in this. Fran Drescher.
Oh,
Fran Drescher was a popular comic in the 80s and 90s who was most well known for the show The Nanny.
Has anyone ever met someone who is a Fran Drescher in real life?
No, because that's sort of a New York caricature.
I have met a Fran Drescher in real life, and she's like a Brampton version of Fran Drescher, which is like
Same mentality, you mean?
yeah, the same sort of like, and like she's just the same
Chaos Demon.
character.
What, is Madison coming on?
No, she's thrown, like, I have to sleep on the couch tonight, so she's just throwing blankets
Oh,
and
you're in
pillows.
the doghouse?
Nope, not in the doghouse. I'm in the, she's not feeling well, and she needs to work tomorrow, so I'm going
No,
to.
he's in the frog house.
I need the
Ribbit,
whole bag.
ribbit, ribbit.
Commercial for a used
Jason,
car.
you're the only one who has a wife. We're all sad, so don't.
Yeah,
worry.
I'm a big single loser.
You can't. You don't have to be like, oh God. We're like, we wish we had wives.
Kalen, though, I feel like, well, you have a significant other technically, Steve. Kalen likes a very specific kind of woman.
That's not true.
Yeah, like a flappy
The
bitch.
sweeter the juice, the darker the berry. No, that's not even.
No, I think you're...
The
stinkier
riper
the
the berry.
circumference.
No. What you're trying to say is the older the dog do, the easier to pick up.
The year was
Low-hanging
1987, and
fruit.
Kalen decided that he needed a lady An old lady. A very old lady.
But I mean a specific demographic of woman that's probably 10 to 12 to 15 years older than you. But as we're getting on an age that I don't know if that gap.
Eventually, I'm going to meet my age.
Is that gap closing?
And one
for
day,
you?
Kalen met
Or
the age of
are you gonna be
45, and he
Yeah.
realized that his older woman was now geriatric.
75.
He kissed her in her rattling teeth.
Which way is the gap going? Is the gap going like this?
Well, right now, the gap
Or
is closing, but I have a weird feeling that as the gap closes and
As the
becomes
gap
closed,
closed,
it'll then
he
do the
realized
opposite.
that his gap opened.
Oh, so you're going to be 65 and dating 20-year-olds.
And she
is what you're
shoved
saying.
her whole fist inside his ass.
Leonardo DiCaprio over here.
Yeah, vice versa, exactly.
Jesus.
It's crazy that I was doing that while you guys were just doing that.
It worked out well. It was. It reminded me of.
It reminded me of that one time that my ass was penetrated by an old woman's fist.
Mm-hmm.
Her wrinkly costume jewelry encrusted fist.
This is making me uncomfortable.
She didn't take off her rings.
Mm-hmm. I'm calling the police. I need an adult.
The police came that night.
And
They
so did
enjoyed
I,
the story
and
and
the
did
police.
nothing.
The next thing that I want to talk about is how there's a used car salesman, and he says, if you don't buy this car, I'll club this baby seal, which I thought was super funny as a kid. Not so much now. And then we get the bit with the mail for R.J. Fletcher, which goes to U62. They blame the janitor for the missing mail, or they blame the janitor not for the mail. We go to the
missing script or
for a
some
missing
shit,
folder.
whatever, yeah.
And they blame the janitor, who, of course, is Stanley Spadowski, who is played by Michael Richards.
But also, this character made you mad, probably, right? Like it made me mad. Where I'm like,
what,
this
this evil CEO?
Yeah,
evil
this is
CEO
the kind of guy that
preying
you like.
on like a special
He's
needs
like a
fellow.
piece of shit. Yeah,
Yeah.
He's a piece of shit.
He's
got
a selfish,
R.J. Fletcher.
arrogant. Yeah.
R.J. Fletcher has a very punchable face, the actor that plays him, and he's been in a lot of stuff. And he's kind of like the evil dude in Basketball. In fact, there was probably a time in my life where I thought they were the same person until you see them and they look completely different.
He's the
I
classic
do like that he's like doing
CEO
this the whole
evil
time.
villain.
Like, he has like this like lift that goes up like the whole time. Like, yeah, good.
So they fire him and kick him out, and then they find the file and they all cackle. And then George shows up.
It was here the whole time.
And then George shows up with the package that was left at U62 for them. And George sees them, take Stanley out and throw him away.
And Stanley's like, "It's my mop. It's
Yeah.
my mop. They give me that mop when I was 8 years old for my birthday." Like,
And the son's like,
thinking,
"Oh, give me a break and give me a mop as well." And
wait, hold on. You don't think it's hilarious that he got that mop as an 8-year-old?
I
Like,
do. I was
the
just adding
funniest
on to
part.
what you were saying.
Oh, okay. It's the funniest part of that whole interaction is that he got that mop as an 8-year-old as a birthday gift, and he loved it.
He
Like
loved
that's like
He
he
was,
just
what's
loved.
that
He
called?
loved it.
Conditioned?
Yeah.
He was conditioned or something. What's the word? What? When you court someone,
Groomed?
yeah, groomed. Yeah, he was groomed.
He groomed the mop, or the mop groomed him, Kalen?
Whoever gave him the grooming.
I
mop.
think that it's just funny that he got a
Yeah.
mop as a kid. I don't
Oh, you
there's
think
any grooming
that
going
somebody was grooming him into becoming a
on.
janitor?
Like a janitor was like,
Yeah,
"You're
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
be a janitor."
This is your
Kid.
role in life. This is what you're gonna do, and you're gonna like it.
That's
Oh boy, do I ever!
That's
No,
dark if you
Kalen.
think about it for too long. So then,
Welcome to Kalen Gets Dark.
to the dark corner. So
It's like the sound of lights going off. Like, it gets dark.
So George, during all of this, George is returning the package, and he gets to talk to RJ Fletcher, who is, of course, the most evil man around, and says that. Thank you.
We love you too, Madison.
Sorry, I'm trying to do a show here, wife. She just brought me more blankets. It's very nice that she's doing this for
What
me.
a lovely lady.
I'm also trying to do a show here, wife. Get out of here!
Get out of here! So when he realizes that R.J. Fletcher is the world's most evilest man, he hires Stanley on the spot because they need a janitor. And there's a really funny part here where the next scene is Fran Drescher, Pamela is her name. She meets Noodles McFadden or whatever to go. Noodles McFadden, I think, is the little dude, the little person.
Billy Barty. Billy Barty is his name.
Is his name in real life?
Yes.
He's in a shitload of things, right?
Yes.
He was probably an Oompa Loompa.
This is like one of the only things where he's not a creature.
But he's a very triumphant.
He's like,
character.
hello, I'm Billy Barty, and I'm in the movie.
Billy Barty plays Noodles. Yeah.
Yeah. So she's there. They need a camera. But there was a funny gag during this part where the homeless guy's sitting with another homeless guy who's blind, and the blind guy is doing a Rubik's Cube, and he keeps showing it to the other homeless guy to be like, is this it? He's like, no.
Is this it?
He just does one more turn. Is that? I love that. Made me laugh extremely hard.
That was one of my favorite gags as well, for sure.
But this is the part where they go to talk to they do a news story on the mayor, and do you guys remember what the R.J. Fletcher's affiliate is called, the network station?
Channel 8.
It's Channel 8.
Something like that. Something like that. The thing that didn't make not that it didn't make sense, I understand what they were trying to do, but they're like, broads don't belong in broadcasting. It's the main part of the word. You can't make that diss. It's not applicable.
Yep.
Yeah,
it's true.
I'm sorry that I call it a chick abroad. Just to double down on how evil he is.
Yeah, when he's like, I've been telling all of my employees to not call broads chicks or chicks broads or whatever.
Yeah.
But then we get a flashback to a show on the network, and it's like people of town with George Newman, and it's the Emo Phillips bit where he's just like a handyman or a carpenter. And he fully cuts his thumb off and blood goes everywhere, and he says my favorite line from this movie is "Call me Mr. Butterfingers," and it always has been, and that scene has lived with me since I saw it the first time. And uniquely, you would think that I would have dreaded this as a kid because of what you guys know about me and gore and stuff.
Gore, yeah.
But this is so comical that call me Mr. Butterfingers.
Call me Mr.
Boy, is my face red.
Boy, is my face red. And then we get another moment from my childhood, and they actually play this at Weird Al concerts. And it's the Specialist City.
Specialist City is fun.
Specialist
City.
I like
it so much. Yeah, it's so funny.
I like it so much. I bought the company.
Yeah. I like so much about the company. And they're like,
no better way to say
don't remember
I love you.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
Ooh, we got a snort. I think that might be the first one.
It's funny.
It's funny. Also, the jingle for the play
because it's like a good a voice.
I love
man.
you.
And don't remember that I love you. And it's so good.
No better way to say
I love you.
The voiceover of it is fucking funny. And the jingle is Spatula City. We sell spatulas, and that's all. I love that as well. Spatula City is iconic. It's a Weird Al. It's. I think that the Spatula City commercial is as iconic as any Weird Al song because it's been around for so long. Plays it at concerts.
It's also one of those things that you can't really do again. You can do it once, and if anyone ever does that again, it's like no.
Oh well, it
was already done. It's already been done.
I already owned it. Yeah.
But then we
Then
we get the very funny Uncle Nutsy's Funhouse where George Newman is being so wacky.
So this is the thing that I'm like, is he saying Nazi or am I just
Uncle Nutsy, nuts?
Yeah, I know, but
is the joke Uncle Nazi?
Yeah,
subliminal.
I don't think so.
But how do they not think of that?
They might have.
There is a scene, I think, close to this kind of segment where I got the most physical revolting action or reaction.
This is why
When the
Caitlin
kid
is like
spits
the
in his
janitor
face.
and he's gonna be the entertainer. Like this is. Go ahead, sorry.
No, it's when the kid spits in his face.
Yeah.
Like, I literally
Hi, kid.
felt.
How are you today?
Yeah.
And the kid just
Yeah.
porks a loogie, and it drips off his nose. Like, I wonder how many times they had to do that to get that, like,
Right?
drip.
I think not a lot because that kid had such a smug look on his face that it was almost like it was like the
He
first
wanted
one.
He was, like,
to.
ready. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hawks a loogie right in George's face. And then Bobo the Clown comes out, and this actor, the actor who plays Bobo, was in
David
all kinds
Bowe.
of... Yeah, he was in
It's his.
David...
It's the same guy. It's this guy who's his friend.
No, I
you
know, I get that, but the
Okay.
guy, I'm just mentioning this now because I didn't mention it before, but his friend that plays Bob in this movie was in so much shit in the 80s and 90s. He was just
Yeah.
one of those guys who was in sitcoms.
And the
friend
like
in
the
movies.
90s to the 2000s. I think.
Yeah.
like,
I was
yeah.
wondering why I recognized his face so much. What else do I know him from?
Well, he's-
was he in
what-
Was he in Bulletproof with Adam Sandler and David Wayans?
Probably.
Yeah.
He is what is called a day player, which is
Yeah.
like they get him just to like fill roles where they're like, we can't sit here and try and figure out who this character should be for a long time, so they just have like day players, and they're just like, we'll bring him in. This guy can do it. We know he can, and they fill those roles. And
I want
like,
that.
I mean, listen, Kalen, Jason, me,
And for
all
Jason
of us,
and
we could
Kaylin,
all be day players if
It's
we really
true.
tried.
It's true. So this act, I just looked it up. He's been in 119 things. He was as recently as Dahmer. He was in Dahmer.
On Netflix?
Probably one of the
Yeah.
cops or some shit.
Or the Jeremy Renner
He looks like
one?
a stinky
Renner,
cop.
He played Russell Goldstein. Maybe
The cop.
Was that a cop? He would,
I
he's-
assume.
he's been in like all kinds of shows you've heard of. He's been in
Is he in Bulletproof?
what year was that?
He's just
Like
a cop. That he's
1996?
an actor that's like, I'm a working actor. That's what he is, guys. We don't need to make fun of his roles.
I'm
Come
not
on.
making,
not
fun,
making
of his roles. I'm just looking up how he's been in like
His
a million
face
things.
is very
I
accentual.
think the saddest part about this is that Weird Al did not grab him and make him like a Kyle Gass or something. You know?
Oh,
Like,
here's
Yeah.
something interesting. He was in the Cable Guy at the very end when the helicopter
In the
he's
helicopter?
paramedic. at the
oh
very
yeah,
end.
he's the guy. Yeah.
That's
And I
right.
think on the
You're-
show,
hey buddy. Yeah, he's.
I think
Hey,
when we did
Am
that
I really your
episode,
buddy?
yeah, exactly. And when we did that episode, I mentioned,
I
was like,
really
"That's that
your
guy from
buddy?"
everything."
Yeah.
Anyway,
Was that-
what I also wanted to say, sorry, go ahead. 'Cause I
Did
think-
we do that together? No, you
Yeah.
guys.
What, Cable Guy?
Did we though?
Yeah.
Buddy?
We did it in like
Did we do
summer.
it though, buddy? Just kidding. I'm just
Are you
making
doing a
sure
bit
you're
right
my
now?
friends. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
my,
we're
it's
your
my bit.
friends. We're
Yeah.
your friends, Stanley or whatever the fuck, and what's his name in
Chip.
Cable Guy? Chip.
Chip Douglas.
Chip Douglas, right? It's a funny name. So Bobo the Clown though is equally hilarious and terrifying looking.
Yes.
some people don't like clowns.
Well, but the thing
Nobody
is,
likes
like,
clowns.
They could like he's got such a weird. The dude has a weird face. So when he put clown makeup on it, I was like, he's funny. He's clown funny, but he's also clown terrifying simultaneously.
Yeah,
That's
true.
what I-
yeah,
That's what I got
true.
from that.
Yeah.
And then George fully hits him with a frying pan in the face. Look out, Bobo! And smashes him in the face.
Oh,
with a-
actually, I gotta say, I want that plaid jacket.
Oh, the one that Uncle Nutsy's wearing.
George, Weird
Yeah.
Al or whatever. Yeah.
And then he has to do like an on-air ad for like a cookie.
Okay, so the on-air ad, just me, or was Dr. Demento in that ad? I'm pretty sure he
Yo,
was. Right?
I think I saw a cameo from Dr. Demento. Whipped
Yeah,
cream,
right? Yeah.
Okay, because I was looking. I thought he might have been in like a crowd scene or something. But if this was the point, that's awesome. Because Dr. Demento.
No, he was in the crowd though. It was a crowd scene.
Okay,
It was in the crowd. Yeah.
that's awesome. I love Dr. Demento. I was just too young to like I got Weird Al out of Dr. Demento, but I was just too young to really I experienced Dr. Demento music through the lens of Ed the Sock. When Ed the Sock would take over Much Music and do Fromage TV or whatever.
Ugh. Remember when Ed the Sock like, made
Toss.
fun of Eminem and
Yeah.
and then he got mad at him?
Yeah.
So
Like you're
weird.
talking to a sock, bro. Like figure it out, bud.
And like the guy is like, no, I just he's
Yeah.
like getting beat up by like actual humans.
Yeah. He was also a Triumph the insult comic dog was also Ed the Sock, I
he
believe.
played the same. He played the. Oh, I didn't know
I
that.
think so. I'm not
No,
100%.
No.
No? Okay. That makes sense, because... Yeah, that makes...
Canada, you can't just
yeah.
Yo,
become
Ed is like the
Conan's
version
guy.
of the comic dog. Yeah.
Yeah.
And-
True.
But also, a lot of those, like, the times when he was getting beat up, like, they were in on it, right? Like, Eminem was in on that beating.
With
Eminem was in on that beating.
Insult the comic dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
the like MTV awards or whatever.
Yeah,
the fuck
he
they-
was. Yeah, he was just there to beat. He was like, "I'll beat," but you know, we got to make sure it's funny.
So around this point, I realized that I had to talk about Stay Tuned twice in a very short amount of time, so I'm kind of Stay Tuned out.
Oh, wow!
But-
Like, it's crazy that you had to do that.
This movie feels like what Stay Tuned wanted to be in a lot of ways. I know Stay Tuned came out after this, and I'm not going to say what everybody thinks I'm going to say, but
He's gonna say it's our fault.
this movie is
Watch
like
out.
this movie is like a way better kind of everything lands in this and isn't like, oh, I get it, the devil, get it, hell.
No. I listen. You don't have to say that because I think that I can 100% agree with you on that fact that this movie is a movie and it's fun. It's a fun movie.
I
And
think you were going to explain why earlier.
me.
Yeah.
Well, no, I would rather you shift over and say that, you know, it is a fun movie. Like, we all had fun watching it, right? Did we not?
I had fun.
Yeah.
Well, then this is a movie that we all like. Like,
So
who cares what the bad parts are then? Like,
so then we get
No,
these
no. But I think you said something earlier at the beginning of the episode, and I don't think you elaborated on it. I think you were about to say why this one succeeded where Complete didn't.
No, I said Stay Tuned though. I was talking about Stay Tuned.
yeah, let's let Jason go.
Okay,
for a
my
minute.
bad.
But
I
Caleb,
think you thought I
I'll
was
hold
talking-
your hand at the end if you want.
I think you thought that I was talking
On the edge of a
about-
cliff, like.
I think you thought that I was talking about Complete Al just there, but I was talking about the movie Stay Tuned
With John Ritter.
John Ritter,
Yeah.
Because these
Okay.
two movies are similar in that it keeps cutting to interstitials of like a TV channel.
Right, true.
But
Yeah,
the
yeah,
difference is that every one of those had the conceit of it had to make some sort of hell joke, and in this, everything is just
Right.
either a parody or just weird, just some weird thing. And this
Yeah.
next sequence is actually ironically like the Complete Owl, because we find out that Terry is a dentist. She's working on a guy. This is another one of those like, this is why it's R-rated, because this is my empath meter when like, ugh. He's working on a guy, and she's watching U62 on the station. It cuts to a special news bulletin, which is just like a piece of paper that says special news bulletin, and it's like, Terry, come meet me for your birthday
Dinner with your mom and dad.
yeah. And then she's like, wow, and fucking drills down and his feet go up. Ugh. That's always made me go, ugh. Then we get a commercial that's not unlike Stay Tuned for Plots R Us, which is like, are you sick of your regular mutuary services? Well, come down to Plots R Us, where, you know,
There's a bunch of legs. And shit.
legs sticking out of the ground. Like that felt, and then I was like, wow, this is very like Stay Tuned. It's like they saw this sequence from this movie and was like, let's do that. But then we just full on get George Newman doing finances, and he falls asleep, and then we just get the full music video for the Beverly Hillbillies, which is a parody of
Money for Nothing.
Money for Nothing by fuck, I just had it.
Dire Straits.
Dire Straits.
What is it?
Dire Dire Straits.
Oh.
Look at that, yo-yo.
Yeah.
That's the way you do it. Money for nothing and you chicks for free.
Reboot.
And then Stanley wakes him up, and he does this funny bit where he's like, "Do you think that if you were flying through space, you were going through space so fast that you traveled through space, do you think your brain would blow up?" Which was another one that very Kalen, and made me laugh very hard. Steve, you've crossed the line where you're just in faces mode. Faces mode. George totally forgot about his girlfriend after sleeping for the long time, and they just go back into finances. It looks like the station is going under, and then he says, "I got some good news and some bad news. The bad news is the station is going under, and I lied about the good news." So then he realizes, "Oh my god, I forgot about this big dinner that I planned for my girlfriend's birthday." She's like, "Your head's always in the clouds."
Have you guys
He's
ever
like,
had a moment like that in your life?
Our heads are in clouds?
No.
I've like slept in and missed work, but I've never like really just forgotten.
A significant other?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never.
Have I ever forgotten a significant other?
I have.
Nope.
And it's
What do you got? Because neither of us had stories, so you gotta take the floor.
I forgot, and then I
And I remembered.
I remember.
and I was like, oh jeez, Louise,
And then I was in big trouble.
So the next time Uncle Nutsy hits the stage, he's all depressed. So now not only is the set depressing, and there's like 4 kids in the audience, but now he's walking around like everything sucks, and it's basically like the music video for "You Don't Love Me Anymore." You know, he's like, you ever get your heart stomped on by the one you love?
Shit stomped inside your own ass, Kalen, or what? Tell us about it.
No, inside your
Yeah.
heart. Because
It was a penis.
Represents no. Okay. Rails people. So he's like, you know what, Stanley, you get out there. You can't do any worse than I'm doing right now. And it's funny because like,
I don't think that's true.
what do you mean?
We could do much worse than you, Stanley, you piece of shit.
Well, basically, he's like, go out there. I don't care. This place is going to shit.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Well,
The
he
point-
really thinks he's better than us, then, doesn't he, Kalen?
What?
What?
I think he's juxtaposed.
Oh, he's juxtaposing. Oh,
Can we
go on with your zozing? Get
You're
out of
doing
here.
so well, and
Yeah.
now you don't even know what we're talking about. No, he tells him to go out onto the show and take over, and then immediately, if you let me get to the point I'm trying to make, immediately they like turn away from the stage, and the next time, like moments later, the stage is like vibrant and the set is way nicer, and the fucking audience is filled with kids in like
They go to
minutes.
the bar to have a drink because
Yeah.
it's like, oh, this place is over and
and they
done
turn
with.
they turn on the show, and it's like,
Yeah.
and then from then on during the movie we get, every time it cuts back to Stanley doing the kids show, it's fucking comic gold also.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
We'll lower your fucking shoulders then.
I got you. Look, I'm hugging you. Both
There
of
you
you.
go.
My
No,
shoulders
I like when your shoulders are lower. I don't like when they're high up. You're like, kill
Me?
you. Yes, you.
Well, I'm just trying to keep
How can you even see his shoulders right now? He's wearing black.
I'm in the background. I'm just a floating head.
All I
In
see
the
is a head
background.
and a big
God.
video.
The background. So
I'm just kidding. I'm sorry, guys.
That's okay.
Just-
Stanley then tells the sweet story about his
Steve, right
mop,
here.
which I'm sure you loved, Steve, because
Knuckle.
Stop.
it really highlights that he loves his mop.
Powers.
What? I have to talk about how I love my mom now? Is that what happened?
Mop.
Oh, my mop. Oh, God, I love my mop.
No, this is the
So
part where
much.
Stanley talks about how he loves his mop
Yeah,
on the kids show.
It
Tells a
is
really
maybe
sweet story.
it is the best part of the movie because if you are watching it, or if you're even just like sideways watching it, like you can get a really good moment from that. Like a simple person just saying something that is really complicated is better than anything that you can ever watch, in terms of like someone who can say the same thing more complicated, I guess. Does that make sense?
That does make sense. But you know,
Hold on.
Yeah.
I think I could make that a little bit better.
Yo, more.
He stands up and he says something that is extremely important and better than what we could say if we stood up on our terms of like our podcast or whatever. But he just is like, you know, the floor is dirty, the wall is dirty, and I could clean the wall, I could clean the floor, but I could also, you know, like tell you that the floor is dirty, and I could tell you that the wall is dirty, or I could just clean it. And it really like makes you feel great when you know that someone can clean the floor and clean the wall, and then turn around and say like, but you could have cleaned it. That's pretty good. That's a good
That's deep.
way
That's
of
super
thinking about
deep.
stuff. Yeah.
But you know what they juxtapose that with? Wheel of Fish.
It's true.
And then it's I forgot to mention the small side plot at the beginning of the movie where below where the Bob and George live, there's a karate place, and his friend Kunai runs the place. And
They're so stupid.
Nope, can't do the accent anymore, I guess.
Nope.
I mean, they don't really do an accent though. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
A little bit.
My whole life. Actually, I'll get to this in a second.
My whole life is just me trying to not do accents.
Pretty much. So we get Wheel of Fish. You're so stupid, so stupid. Then we get Philo's science show, which is pretty.
Hey, would
endearing
you
as
guys
well.
have taken the red cod or the empty box?
I would
Empty
this
box,
red snapper.
for sure.
Yeah, I would have.
Red
been like,
snapper,
"What's in
red
the
snapper.
box?"
Yeah, would
No,
you guys
I
have
would-
picked red
I
snapper
would
or
take the box.
mystery
The box. The box.
I would.
Okay, but knowing what you know after having seen the movie, would you still go with the box?
Yes.
No, red snapper's
What?
delicious.
What the fuck? I'm gonna take a fish home? Like
Red
I would-
snap? It's weird.
Yeah,
I'd
I would
rather
like to
take
make
nothing
some
home
fish
than
That's the
box
conceit
or
of the
like,
show is you're there to win fish on a wheel. So anyway, then we get the most horrifying part of the movie, which ties into why this movie has an R rating without having any nudity or swearing. But so my whole life I thought that this was George Lopez because they look very similar. But I'm now finding out that the man's name is Trinidad Silva, and he died right after this movie was made.
He cut his thumb off and lost a lot of blood.
No, that's Emo Phillips. This guy's name is Raul Hernandez, and he has a kid show about animals. And on this animal show,
that guy.
he abuses the animals horribly and throws many dogs out a window. Which even
Oh yeah, but they never really kind of like solve that
no
problem
because
Like,
they're
he's just
still in the bar, and they show the outside of this guy's apartment, and there's like a pile of dogs.
there. I gotta go.
Oh man!
And they're watching this unfold, and it's their faces are just horrified. And that's where I was like, I don't know why this movie was rated R, but I kind of get it now.
I got a question. Was
in
this
mind- okay.
what's the word I'm looking for?
I don't know.
Perverted, yes.
When he says we don't need no stinking badgers, is that from something? Is that a spoof off of something?
That is a spoof of George Lopez, I believe. That's why I thought it was him in this movie.
Isn't George Lopez like kind of 2000s, not like
No,
1980s?
he was a comic in the 80s.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to actually look it up because I am curious. We don't need no stinking
Badgers. That
We all said it together.
was good.
All right, Kaylin, do you have any questions for me?
Cowabunga!
Oh, you know what
That's
it
not
is?
a question, you fucker.
Let's all do it at the same time, though.
Oh, cowabunga!
No. Wait. You gotta look at the elbow. Ready?
Cowabunga!
Cowabunga!
looks like it's from a movie from the 20s and then parodied in Blazing Saddles. And the original line is, "We don't need no stinking badges."
Oh, so it's racism.
Very close.
From
very
the Treasure of Sierra Madre.
Oh, the treasure
From
of
the
Sierra Madre.
Sierra
Well, we can all
Madre.
just watch and stink our own butts
We're gonna
to the
stink our
treasure
own
of
butts.
Treasure Marjorie.
So it is getting to 11 o'clock, and I can't stay up till all hours. So I'm gonna kind of get us through the rest. This
But
next
if
little
we
bit.
all talk long enough, we can keep them up all hours of the goddamn night. Let's go. Get them awake. Take them to the.
Steve, we can hang out afterwards.
All right, that's
Dave
true.
do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, you guys. Can,
Jason, I'm just kidding. Sorry.
I know, it's all good. My favorite joke of the movie happens after this. Like, my actual favorite joke. They're back in the Channel 8 studio, and the RJ Fletcher's like, "What are we gonna do? This fucking George Newman station is taking over the town. We gotta get this. We gotta get this guy. And would you take that ridiculous thing off?" And one of the guys who through this whole movie has had a
That's
mustache,
probably
now
the
has
best
a ridiculous
moment
hat
in the whole
on.
movie.
He's got a ridiculous hat, and you think
It's
he's
a cowboy
talking
hat.
about his side, takes his mustache off.
It's like
Yeah,
the
yeah,
funniest thing.
That's been my favorite.
so funny.
I think that's, if you could pinpoint my brand of comedy.
But that's also like funny in all brands of humor. Like
Right.
there's no one out
Mr.
there
X.
that's
Mr.
gonna be like,
X.
that's not funny. Like, no, that's funny. That's
a
always gonna be
well-executed-
funny forever. Yeah.
subversive joke.
He looks so sad. And he rips
Can I
his,
also say,
his mustache out. It's so funny.
some people can pull off unibrows. Some people. Like
Yeah,
some
yeah.
people can pull off mustaches. Some people can pull off bowl cuts. Some people can pull off unibrows.
Who has a unibrow?
There's a scene in the shortly, like right around what you're talking about, or right around the area that you're talking about. It wasn't that specific scene, but when the evil CEO is like talking about the shit and is like, "What are we gonna do?" He's like, "What would senior what's his face do?" And then his son's like, "Oh, help me, get me out of this box! I can't breathe!" Oh.
Right. That was earlier in the movie.
One of the cronies has a
Oh.
unibrow, but it's a unibrow that's like, oh, it's not like a in your face like unibrow, and it's like oh, you have hair there.
Right.
I don't mind.
Right. That's right.
I have to pluck mine.
I don't pluck mine. I just shave mine every once a year.
No, you can't shave.
It
That's
doesn't
the
grow
first
back
thing you
thicker.
gotta
It just I
pluck.
do a little.
No, you gotta pluck me in.
Well, stop disagreeing with me because I'm telling you what I do. So then we get a scene with Terry's house filled with an obsessive amount of "Please Take Me Back" balloons and stuff. Then we get the ad for Conan the Librarian, which was another one that made me laugh when I was a kid and still makes me laugh to this day.
That made me laugh, and I forgot about it, and I laughed.
Hey, can you help us find this book? And he's like, haven't you ever heard of the Dewey Decimal System?
You don't know the Dewey
And then
Decimal.
it cuts him in half.
The cutting in half was like the funniest.
That looked good. That
I
looked good too.
laughed aloud. I was like, ah! he was cut in twain. Did you see that? And no one else laughed in the whole room. I was alone, so.
I had a bit of a laugh when he shook the ant farm. It's like, oh, they're mad now.
Yeah.
Like, it was simple, but it gave me a good little chuckle.
I took a picture of this next moment because I really enjoyed it. We cut back now to George doing the fall schedule, and I wanted to read off some of the movies on this schedule. So here are some of the great movies and TV shows. Beverly Hillbillies and Mr. Ed, which of course are real shows. Ion Toxic Waste. My Three Mutants. Beat the Lone Shark. Druids on Parade. The Lice is Right. The Flying Pope. Oh shit, this one's bad. Bestiality Today.
Back then it was probably like petting a.
Yeah, it was like yesterday almost.
What? Name That Stain. The World of the World of Tractor Pulls. You Bet Your Pink Slip. Leave It to Bigfoot.
You bet your pink slip. What
Yeah.
the fuck?
Like cars.
The car racing
Car
show.
It's like no, it's like someone has to leave the country.
No, pink slip is the car. Is your
Yeah,
deed for your car.
The states.
On the card, you can't get the fuck into this country. Am I right?
Name
No.
Volcano Worshippers Hour. Just a show called That's Disgusting. Underwater Bingo for Teens. The young
For
and
teens.
the young and the dyslexic. And then
I would have been good at that game probably.
Buddha Knows Best.
If they rearranged the letters of young to make a different word, that would have been hilarious.
Bong.
Young.
Okay.
Well,
Hold on. Just gonna pull the show back up. Okay, so right, they find out that they're number one, which is a huge deal. We get the classic gag where we're number one, and they yell in each other's faces. Here's some more shows that they actually name off, because we get more of the weekend lineup.
it sounds like
Hey, what do you think of
you're
this lineup?
Just trying to make things more interesting.
Stay Fit with Mike and Spike, Bowling for Burgers.
Mike and Spike. So which one of you is Mike and which one of you is Spike?
I'm both.
Spike's the one
Jesus.
from Degrassi.
Oh,
Yep.
Spike then, probably.
Bowling for Burgers, Strip Solitaire, Practical Jokes and Bloopers,
Strip Solitaire made me laugh so
Right.
much.
and Celebrity Mud Wrestling with Mikhail Gorbachev, which
Oh,
was
Gorbachev.
which was very topical for the time. Then we get to the part where the uncle.
We have to fire someone. Steve, you're fired.
Oh, this is what Kaylin mentioned here, actually. Sorry. Where it's like, they're number one. What are we going to do? What do you think that RJ Sr. would think? And then the son says what you had said. Let me out of this box. A super dark joke because he's been dead for years. And then we get...
Which is hilarious. I don't think I've ever heard that joke before. With like, what would so-and-so say? I don't think I've ever heard that. I don't think I've ever heard that get used that way before.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeesh.
Yeah.
We now cut to the uncle, George's uncle, who's in his pool, relishing his brand new number one station that he's given his nephew, while the song "Let Me Be Your Hog," which is on the soundtrack to this movie, and is just sort of a parody of, I don't even know what genre of music that is.
Parody of something.
Style parody of something. Anyway, he finds out that Mr. Big found out that Harvey is his name, has been gambling. His horse betting has come in as a negative to the tune of $75,000, and now the uncle owes $75K. So he cuts a deal with RJ Fletcher to sell the company to him for $75,000, so he doesn't get all of his limbs broken.
So now we have to play those characters. Kalen, you're the man in charge.
Oh God! Well, I had them up, and then they took it. Just wait, let me talk like this.
Oh God, Jason, you're the guy coming in.
Hello,
Getting
I'm the guy
fired?
coming.
Wait, no, is not happening. Oh, okay.
Did we miss the mark?
No, I thought we were going pretty good, but Jason didn't want to do it.
He came.
So then we get a scene back at U62 where RJ Fletcher and his boys show up with measuring tape, and they're just measuring things. They're like, we're buying this station, and it's like, well, isn't that illegal? Isn't that a monopoly? You can't own.
Is that a real thing? You can't own more than one station in one
Yes, it
town?
is a real thing. You cannot own like multiple news stations in one area. Because
That's kind of cool.
Well, I don't
you're
know
not
if it
gonna.
applies anymore, but
I don't know if it applies anymore, but it's
did.
true. Like or it was true there, but like yeah, you can't fucking.
I like it when they bring reality into fiction. I like that.
so RJ Fletcher's like, well, maybe I'll turn this into a parking lot then, and goes and laughs like an evil person.
Classic.
Yep.
So the uncle,
Evil is good. Yeah, I
The-
love evil.
we go back to the uncle and the aunt. The uncle's trying to bounce to get his money, and George calls the house, and the aunt's like, "You better get back here." And now we have a situation that's like, well, before what I'm going to say next, we actually get a talk show parody.
Oh shit! Jason's gonna have to shit.
With
He's gonna shit.
he has sex with furniture.
Yo, what are you talking about? Sex with furniture.
Al Capone's glove compartment, and then on the show he's supposed to be like a Geraldo Rivera person, and on the show he has Satan, a Nazi, a hooker, a child, Jason Voorhees, and a KKK member, and then they all fight each other, and it's specifically Jason Part 3, Jason Voorhees, which I thought was great. Jason and George then is sitting. He's depressed that he has to give away the station, and Stanley, they kind of talk back and forth, and then Stanley's like, "Well, if I could help, I'd give you my last dime." And then that's where he has the great idea to have a telethon. And during this telethon, there's lots of wacky stuff. The dudes that are going ooh, 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 with the big chins and noses, who were probably huge. They're probably huge in the 80s. They probably traveled around at the circus.
Yeah, the Chin Boys or whatever they're called.
The traveling Chin Boys. I have a question about
the Chin Boys.
Gandhi.
Are they chins or are they not chins?
I have a question about Gandhi 2. Was that Weird Al in brownface? Or was that an actor?
No,
that was not.
That was an actor, yeah.
Okay.
That wasn't Weird Al? I thought it might have been Weird Al.
I thought it was him when I was a kid, but watching it, I was like...
It was not him. No,
he wouldn't do that, right?
Yeah, and also that was maybe bad. Like, you think about it now, and you're like, yikes.
This time he eats red meat, is what I remember from that always. So anyway, we get the thing where R.J. Fletcher shows up to... meddle, and the homeless guy confronts him, and he's like, "Can I have some change, mister?" And he's like, "Here," and he hands him a penny, and then he's like, "Oh, thanks, mister." Anyway,
little did he know.
So Terry tries to talk some sense into R.J. Fletcher, and he's like, did George send you down here? And she's like, "No, he's a good person." Then we find out that Philo actually had the place wired for sound with a camera, and he videotapes him saying, like, these people are nothing but a bunch of...
I play these people like a harp from hell!
Yeah,
That's
like...
what it remind me of.
They're a bunch of festering piles of snot or something.
No, that's exactly what you're correct.
Yeah.
I play these people like a harp from hell. No, that's correct.
Like Batman Returns.
Yes. Yeah.
So anyway, then we get a great action scene where, like, Stanley at this point has been tied up, is removed from his mop. Then
you know what would give you super strength?
Ooh.
What?
Being reconciled with your mop.
Yeah. Well, what happens is from the other room while the goons are just like playing cards, you hear him say,
"You telling me like a hop from hell?"
my blindfold has fallen off. Maybe you should come and put it back on. These ropes seem kind of loose. Maybe you should come. And they're like, "I'm tired of your shit." And they go back there, and he's fucking around with this mop, and then he gets hulky in strength. My favorite part of this part where he's like just swinging the mop, and it makes like a lightsaber noise for a second. It goes whoa, whoa,
yeah,
whoa.
Yeah, and then even if you watch it with the sounds on, it says like lightsaber noise.
noise.
Yeah.
Subtitles.
But he waves it around, and then it goes whoa, 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 and he just falls backward into some boxes, like very Kramer style, which made me laugh out loud. And they meanwhile at the station, George is running to the back to like figure out what's going on. He sees this happening to Stanley on the screen, and then this is where we get the Rambo sequence. George runs outside, and then he turns, and as he's turning, it like switches to Rambo, and it's gross, but it looks good. I thought it was pretty good makeup, big chest arms makeup.
Excuse me.
And we get
Jason, we know. You sit down and you shut up. Ding, 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 ding. That would be good if we had that music to play right then.
So we get the him just shooting the shit out of everything, which is fucking amazing.
And he keeps going.
Which is funny because have you seen that picture from the last Rambo where they took the gun out of his hand and he just like two thumbs up? That's what this whole sequence reminds me of. How over the top the newest Rambo
I also
ends up
like
being.
in this moment I thought like Weird Al is like he's like a genius. Like I was like he is a genius because he keeps doing like the face of like he knows what to do. Like he's doing the face and like he knows what to do. Like it's so good. It's very good. Yeah.
Similar to the beginning, he blows up like the Eiffel Tower and the Taj Mahal.
Yeah.
Things keep exploding. He gets up in the helicopter with Stanley and they're going. He's blowing things up and Stanley's reactions are like the funniest shit. And he's like, I was nightmare. But he says it like he says I'm your worst nightmare in that cadence, but they're back in reality. And then they all point guns at him. He's like, "Oh, I don't know, guys. Like, what's the problem here?"
I kind of want one of those Rambo suits. Make me look a little more muscular.
So anyway, Kunai and his crew of karate guys come in and beat the bad guys. I thought there was a moment here that was supposed to be the F word, where like the guy that kind of looks like Al Pacino, who's in a whole bunch of mafia movies from the 80s.
He's not though. He looks
says
like Al Pacino, but he's not Al Pacino.
I know, but he's in a lot of things though.
He's in a lot of Al Pacino roles.
Exactly.
Every time they need Al Pacino,
We didn't have enough.
Can we get
for
that guy that looks like he's Al Pacino?
When he says, "You really botch things up," I was like, is that making fun of when a show is made, like put on TV, and it's like this whole town is one big chicken waiting to get plucked, like Scarface. I was wondering if it was a play on that, or if the one F-bomb for the movie was supposed to be there, but because they had all these other things, they had to drop.
That's too much. No.
What's
everything
too much?
you just said is too much. All of it, too much. Because he's just like, oh, hey, I'm a Al Pacino replacement, and you're like,
So everything that I just said is maybe like everything that's happening.
no, like that. He's just an Al Pacino replacement.
Did you hear what I said? Did you listen to any of it though?
I did hear what you said. And
Well,
all of it is not. No.
Why are you shutting me down? This is a yes and.
All right,
situation.
sorry. Continue. But like I heard it. Yeah, it's not. No.
Anyway, they save the day and they make the money back, and that's the end of the movie. So.
Classic tortoise.
Jason, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. Wait, Kaylin, are you autistic too?
Hey everyone. Thanks for.
God, he is autistic. He is. Jason,
you guys
are you also autistic?
No, we were just doing.
Jason's autistic.
Sometimes we do really realistic bits. They're like, "Oh shit, I think that thing's real." Nope, we were just joking.
Jason, I'm sorry.
Nope, I didn't save it. I didn't save it with that one.
Kaylin, stop for a second.
I'm just
Jason, I'm
gonna.
sorry.
So, what are your final thoughts, Steve?
Oh God, we're so far away from the final thoughts, though.
Not really.
No.
If you would just let me finish the movie.
All right, well then go. I'm sorry.
Anyway, they come back in a joyous situation on the back of a Jeep, and they're just a few dollars away from getting the $75,000 together. And then as RJ Fletcher's about to take over the station, the homeless guy comes up and he's like, Mister, and George is like, get out of here. It's fine. I don't have time for this. He's like, but I have all this money. And he gives them the money, and they save the day. They get the station back. Terry takes George back. Philo says, well, I have to go back to my home planet. And they look at him like, Okay, I don't know what you're talking about.
What a silly Seuss.
What a silly Seuss. And then he goes into the background and turns into like claymation and like disappears.
Yeah.
And then we get credits, and now we can go into our final thoughts. So Steve, go ahead.
No, not me first. Someone else, please.
I'll do it.
Kaylin, go ahead.
I'll do it. We get your classic tortoise and hare ending. Oh, Mr. Evil Villain CEO, he's got everything. Oh no, he's gonna win. He's got the money, but he needs to make a big, boisterous speech about how he wins. And lo and behold, having done so is the heir of his folly. I might be saying these words wrong or not in the right sequence of connecting words, but somehow he fucked up. And the guy, the guy who we think's a homeless guy, saves the day. He took that penny. Yeah, fuck, take a penny. Leave me alone, guy. Who knew it was a 1955 penny? Do you know how much that can get you? That can get you, like, how much is a Rolex? A Rolex is probably like, what, 20,000? And then he had an extra 2,000. So let's call it 22,000. And he's like, hey, can I buy some shares, mister? Anyway, that has nothing to do with my final thought. My final thought was I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it quite a bit. And oh no, I'll save that for the other part. There was I don't know why, but for some reason I felt like we didn't get enough Weird Al for some reason.
You know what? I completely agree with you. That I felt the same way. Like
a little bit.
He's mostly like
he's kind of like
he's looking at the camera and being like, well, yeah, and like, yeah, he's not Weird Al. He's not Weird Al enough, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Which I can't tell. Like, part of me is like thinks it's a bad thing, but then another part of me thinks it's a good thing. But and then so to add on top of that, Michael Richards' character Stanley, he's
not racist, which is great. He's not racist at all. That's great.
He wasn't. It was a very memorable performance, and on top of that, it is basically the blueprint of what I want to happen to me. I want to be just this little happy-go-lucky guy
we want that,
mopping the floors. You called it earlier, exactly. You called it earlier. I'm there just mopping the floors. Everyone's trying to make these plans and make shit happen. And I'm just like, oh, googly boogly. And everyone's like, ha, ha, ha. Yeah. What a great idea. What a silly Sally.
I literally wrote that right down right here.
Exactly what I just said?
Oogly boogly. Yeah, it's here.
Word for word. For my what went well. So having watched this after having watched the complete Al, for what I had to put for my what went well was the story structure. It was a little bit what's it called when you've seen it before? But
repetitive?
A little bit. But it had structure and it made me like follow along. For my even better, I put if I saw this years ago when it came out. Because I liked it. I liked it a lot. But had I seen it back in the day, I would probably be in love with this. It's definitely a watch at the very least. And anyone who grew up with it probably already owns it, unless they sold it at their lawn sale. And I am going to give it, bear with me.
Oh my God, he's going out the room. It's like a whoopee cushion, like a deflated whoopee cushion, maybe?
Sometimes you buy a white hoodie, and everyone says, why did you get a white hoodie? You're just going to get a bunch of stains on it. But you're like, because for that one time, it's going to be awesome. And you're going to notice the
It's
stuff
what it is.
that's on it. And on top of that, damn, I should have planned this better. Here it comes. We're still going.
No, it's good. It's good. This is great.
And allow me to get my little plastic.
Oh my
bird.
god, are you gonna make a fucking Twinkie? Oh my god, this is so good. Jason.
We're still going. We're still going. I give this film, this artistic representation of
He's making a Twinkie stinker or whatever it's called.
I dropped some on the floor. I'm gonna eat that part.
No,
But
you shouldn't have been.
I'm gonna give it a Twinkie wiener sandwich with cheese.
Holy shit, Galen. That's commitment, man. That's more commitment I've ever seen from anyone ever. All right,
It's so good.
yeah. Is it good or is it bad?
All right,
It's
Steve,
good.
hit us with your final thoughts.
Oh, it's a movie. I think it's a weird movie, and it should be better. I think that this movie is almost exactly what Kaylin's doing right now. Like, I don't think I have to actually think about what I was saying. Like, Kaylin is the embodiment of what this movie is supposed to be. Look at this. He just ate a Twinkie cheese hot dog sandwich, and like that's what this movie is. And like it's not supposed to be bad when that is something that comes up, and I love it. I love it so much. Kaylin, you fucking figured out why this movie's good. It's really good. Yeah. The reason this movie is good is because there are people like you, Jason, and Kaylin, and me that can appreciate it, and appreciate it for the reasons that we're supposed to appreciate it. We're not supposed to watch this movie and think it's brilliant. We're supposed to watch this movie and watch Kaylin eat a fucking Twinkie with a hot dog inside of it. That's what this movie is about. And we just did that. So I think that this movie is smart. This is a smart movie. Smart as heck. Yeah. That's what I'm gonna say. Wow.
And your
Jason
rating?
looks mad.
Your rating?
Oh, my rating. Yeah, I don't have one. Oh, this movie is good. Oh, this movie is bad. Oh, this movie is good and bad at the same time. Yeah, that's what I wrote.
What's something in real life that like food or something that's like good and bad to you?
Brie cheese.
Is this movie like brie cheese?
Yeah, this is a brie cheese movie where
Okay.
like sometimes you can get brie and it's good, and sometimes you can get brie and it's bad, but there are times where they'll cook it for you and you'll think it's going to be better, and you eat it and it's
Sounds melted.
Rated
not
Brie
good.
Cheese 13.
yeah.
Your what went well even better?
What went well? I think that it was no. It hold on. Sorry. No, I don't have a what well. It's just a what could have been better, I think, is all I have. Is that wrong? Sorry.
No, that's fine. No, there's got to
No,
be
it's
one
fine.
thing you liked about it. There's one thing. It's got to be one thing you liked about it.
I liked every single moment where they're doing like a
Parody.
parody of something. Yeah, like they
what
could
went
have
well
like a
was
million of
different.
those. That could have been better, but they didn't do it on the molecular level. Like they didn't do it on the level that made sense in terms of a story. So like we could have had those moments where like the guy who's like, well, you know, we are here, like that could have had like a cartoon level to it, but it didn't, and it wasn't good. Yeah. That's
All right,
it.
fantastic.
Yeah, get the frick out of here. Yeah.
So, this is one of my favorite comedies of all time. I've seen it a lot. I've been through this movie a lot of times, but I've never broken it down like the way that we broke it down for this. It always sort of existed in my head as just the parts. Obviously I know the plot of the movie, but like the way that the show, like the different shows and the parodies like weave through the actual plot of the movie makes the plot kind of short, but almost in an endearing way where I want to know what happens next, but I also want to see
it was one thing
different
that,
parodies that he does throughout the movie that are happening throughout the movie. And I really feel like when you break it down, Weird Al is a genius, and he is very much a product of that era, but he was so prolific throughout the rest of his career that, much like you said at the beginning of the show, like you when Weird Al puts out a thing, you don't groan. You don't say like, oh, this fucking hack is still around. You genuinely want to see what happens next. And I actually feel bad that he hasn't put out,
hug him, right?
He hasn't put out anything in some time. It was basically he put out his final album, Mandatory Fun, then several years go by and he puts out that box set, and then several years go by, and then we did get an album along with the motion picture, the Weird Al story. But the thing is it was just a couple of remastered old songs and mostly a score, and that was kind of a bummer because I want a new Weird Al album, because I do follow pop music.
What if we make it?
But the thing about this movie is it's sort of outside of that realm as well. Like it doesn't, it's not a parody of anything really, except for like a parody of loving movies and filmmaking.
Yeah.
So it is great. I do give it a 4 out of 5, which I think is probably high, but I hold it in such a high regard for what it represents in my childhood and my nostalgia. And also, as far as comedies go, Weird Al and Jay Levey were able to sort of take what makes a Mel Brooks movie. I can't remember the guys that make the Leslie Nielsen movies, but similarly they take these broad subjects and almost pastiche elements down into it to make a full parody. And ultimately, like I said, I give it a 4 out of 5. What went well? Even better? What went well is the movie as a whole. Even better, I think that they could have maybe jam-packed some more of Weird Al's music into it, but I don't think
I think that it was good that there was only one. I think it was great that there was only one.
Necessary, but I could, as a kid especially, I wanted to see his music videos because they weren't really shown on TV. And I give this movie a Rambo blowing up literally every 7 wonders of the world. Sorry?
I said you're giving it a boner out of 10. You're gonna get a boner. I'm gonna get a boner.
A full erection.
Big old boner.
And with that's been our show for the week.
I gotta just forgot to mention MPAA 29,692. That's a 69 in the middle, folks.
Hey-o, 69,
hey!
The lead number on 420, the sex number.
Yo, my PIN code is 42069. Rob me.
Should not have said that on the air. But that's okay, because for Kaylin and Steven, I'm Jason.
And for Jason and Steven, I'm Kellen. Exactly. And we just got to ask you one thing.
You do have to ask one question, and that is, hey, did you see this one?
Hey, did you see this one?
You see this one? I was wondering. That's good. I can't believe you ate that.
I thought
That's
I was
crazy.
going to throw up. It was actually pretty.
It's fucking
Hey,
wild.
you like Twinkies? You like wieners? Put it in your
I
mouth.
mean, I do like both of those things, so I'm like, maybe it would be kind of tasty.